Have you ever wished you could create large sublimation designs for doormats, oversized shirts, garden flags, or even custom fabric, but felt limited by the size of your current printer? Or are you just thinking of getting a printer and you're just not sure which size you need? I get you. Today, I want to talk about the Epson SureColor F570 LE. It is a wide format sublimation printer that lets you go big with your projects. This printer has the ability to print up to 24 inches wide, so it's really designed for crafters and makers who want to create professional level quality designs on a larger scale. Today, we are going to unbox it live, set it up, and put it to the test to see how it performs. And I have its smaller sister here, the F170, so we can compare the two. Hello everyone, Jennifer Maker here. I love making things, and sublimation printing is one of the best ways to create vibrant, long-lasting designs. A shirt, not a small shirt, right? Nice and big, so like you can cover the whole shirt. You can also, with a wide format printer, you can make bath mats, or you can make garden flags, or you can make awesome doormats, right? So wide format printing opens up so many possibilities. With the wide format Epson sublimation printer, you can do all of those larger than life ideas and make them a reality. But you can also do the small stuff too. So don't it's not limited to just doing big stuff. You can also do, you can go from the small to the big ideas. I love sublimation crafting, and I love helping others use it to make amazing things. So I thought it would be fun to play test a large purpose-built sublimation printer with you. I bought this printer from my friends at MakerFlow, who I have been recommending as the best source for this printer for a couple of years now. I purchased the Epson F570 LE from them, which you can see over at, I'm going to put it up on the screen. There we go. You can see them over at jennifermaker.com/makerflow. So you can see the exact one I bought. If you go over there, everything that comes with it. I will be giving this printer away and the things that came with it. So stay tuned to the end to learn how you might be able to win it all. And as a reminder, this video is not sponsored in any way. I buy everything myself, and I never accept any money or free products for anything I do, so I can remain entirely objective. And as this is a live video, you will see the whole process in a very realistic light, for better or for worse. You just never know what might happen, right? So yesterday I unboxed the F170, and I had issues with the color that printed. If you were watching that video, you saw at the end, I made some ornaments, or I made an ornament, and it didn't look quite right. It kind of looked too dark. But I have figured it out since then. So I'll be explaining that solution, which is actually really easy. I just forgot a step, and that's okay. I'll be explaining that solution today when we talk about the big one, okay? So that you know, so that this is important, right? It's not uncommon to, like, the first time you print something out for it not to be quite right and to just have to figure it out. All right, so are you ready to unbox this and see what's inside? Greg will be helping me unbox it so that I can, I'm not lifting this by myself. So, and in fact, it says caution heavy here and team lift required. So if you buy this or if you win this, you're going to want some help getting it set up. Just a brief word about sublimation, because if you are new to the idea of sublimation, maybe you've heard me talk about it or someone else, you might be like, what is that? Do I need to do a new thing? And you don't, no, but it is a really cool technique that lets you transfer special ink to make these really full color designs, tumblers, mugs, t-shirts, tote bags, so much home decor. And this is one of the best ways, well, really the best way, the easiest way, the most customized way to use this special ink is with a printer. The Epson 570 printer is one of the few printers built specifically for sublimation. So that means it comes with a warranty if something goes wrong, as well as support from Epson. This is something you won't get if you buy an Epson EcoTank 15,000. which is the wide format version of the EcoTank. And then you just put sublimation ink inside. You just put sublimation ink in it instead of the regular ink. This is an option. But once you put that sublimation ink in an EcoTank, no warranty and no support. But the warranty and support comes with a steep price. The Epson 570 LE is a $2,500 printer. So this printer is not for the faint of heart or the light of wallet. This is for those who have a small business or are thinking of starting a small business and are serious about it. And this is for, or an institution who has to make bigger prints, right? So I want that. It's very important. But like, even if you're not actually in the market for this big one, you might be really curious how the 570 compares to the 170. So we're going to do that today. Also, I want to know at the time I'm making this video, the F570 comes in two versions, a Pro edition and an LE edition. LE stands for limited edition. We are unboxing the LE edition. The LE is the same printer as the Pro, but it's about $500 less because it doesn't come with the fancy Epson Edge print software. So you'll be printing to the LE like any other sublimation printer, which I don't personally think is an issue. And I like the idea that they're offering this for a little less without the software if you don't need it. I haven't ever used the Epson Edge Print Pro software, nor do I think I need it, nor do I think I would use it even if I had it. In fact, I can't even use it as it's a Windows-only set of software, and I use a Mac by choice. Yes, I have a PC that I use for gaming and for tutorials, like for teaching on the Windows. It's not my preference. I am a Mac fangirl from the late 80s. So I've been using Mac since like almost the very beginning. I should also note that I think the LE may not stick around. I suspect Epson is offering it to see if people are interested in buying it for less without the software. So if you're watching this video later and there's no LE available, which would be a bummer because, you know, $500 less, just know that's likely the reason, and that this is the same printer that is available with the Pro edition, right? So it just doesn't have that software. All right, so enough talk. Let's unbox the printer and see what it comes with. Greg, come on over and let's open this up. All right, so this is how it came to us in this box. It was just shipped. I don't actually know what carrier shipped it, but it did not require freight. It just showed up on our porch. Wait. I have to get this side. And I remember being like, what is that giant thing? And Greg is like, what did you order? I'm like, I ordered some printers. And apparently one of them is very big. All right. So inside is a whole bunch of packing material. Let's just get rid of all this. Inside the box, we have some sublimation paper. We've got 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, and what's this big one? 11 by 17. And this is all Maker Flow paper that they included for us. All right, what else is in this box? Well, the printer itself is in here. Very big printer. And the ink. So here's the bottles of ink. We've got the black, magenta, cyan, and the yellow. Okay, anything else in here? We have some tape, some clear heat resistant tape, and another one. So we got the skinny tape and the wider tape. And what's over here on the side? Oh, this is the maintenance box. Excellent. You see anything else? Some cardboard, something in some bubble wrap. What is that?
It's probably the paper holder. And when it prints out, it needs to...
Oh, yeah, like the little thing, yeah. Okay. No, why don't we just set all these things on the desk, and then we'll take this printer out in here. Okay. All right, ready? Is this backwards? It's backwards right now. Wait. I don't have it. Okay, I'm good. There we go. Excellent. Thank you. All right, I think that's good. My power cord is there. Is the other Epson still plugged in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Should be.
I wanted both of them here. So let's just so that you can see this one is over here. There we go. Oh my gosh, look at how big this is. So there's a bunch of tape. There's some papers taped up here. Something telling you how to lift it, which I didn't see, but it says, probably so you don't damage it, it's saying lift on either end, which we did do, so we didn't fail at that. It says don't try to carry it by yourself, like that, right? So can you see that? Don't do that. So team lift, this is a team project. All right, so just like with the F170 that we unboxed yesterday, we are going to use the Start Here guide so that we do things in the right order, because it does matter. All right, I'm going to switch over to, I'm going to get my chair because I'm going to need to sit down at least a little bit. Will probably be awkward, so thank you in advance for your patience with this. There we go. And because I need to use my keyboard to do some stuff, I think. I can't even sit in here. All right, let me figure out my overhead too. Because if I'm standing up most of the time, we're going to do this a little bit differently. Let's see here. There. Okay, so I'm going to put that away. Then I can just stand up most of the time and show you everything. All right, so. And then I'll set that chair over here. So, here we go. So we're going to start with the Start Here guide. And it says, important before using this product, be sure to read everything and the safety. Okay, so first, choosing a location. You need to make sure that you have plenty of space. It has to be on a flat, stable surface with enough space on all of the sides. So you need at least, looks like 12.5 inches in front of it. And you need a height of, I can't even quite tell what, it's not really telling, whatever. By the way, this weighs 64 pounds, so that might be useful to know. It looks like you need a little space. Looks, oh, you need 5.5, it's almost 6 inches above it. Probably because we are going to put, there's going to be like a thing that I think that extends back here maybe or something. I'm just guessing, I don't know. Okay, well, this is our temporary location for this printer so that we can get it set up, right? I recommend a table with wheels so you can move it around. They do, I think that they do sell, or there are stands for these. I don't have it, and I don't know for sure what it, but I have seen some photos at least. All right. Unpack. Make sure you have these items. All right, so we're looking for the printer and the roll spindle, the output tray, the ink bottles, the power cord, the limited warranty. So that's what we should have. So we have the ink. The ink's all right here. What I don't see is the power cord, but we have this. And this is the, I don't know what this is. What I don't see is a power cord, so we need to find that power cord. I don't really, this has got to be some kind of like support for the paper or something like that. But I don't see it, so I'm going to enlist Greg's help to help me find the power cable. Maybe it's tucked inside the printer. Maybe it's even attached.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You just said, uh-oh, here we go. I haven't seen anything that looks remotely like a cord yet. You should check the box again, Greg. I see lots of, I don't see any. Okay, where would it plug in? I don't even know where it's going to plug in. Maybe back here somewhere. I don't even see the, okay, you found it?
I don't know. There's one.
Yes, okay. Where was it? Just in the bottom of the box?
You got stuck on the plastic. That might be something else. But you should check.
Well, this looks like a power cord to me. It looks like the one that we used for the F170. So it looks like, but the F170 has its, so
That must be it.
this must be it. And it was in the box, in the plastic.
I think it got caught on the plastic.
It got caught on the
We have a
plastic.
lot of cords here, so-
Yes. So always a good reminder to check your box really carefully for all your stuff. Okay, so we have our power cable. No USB cable, right? Just like with the F170, there's no USB cable. So you'll need to provide your own. It's just a printer USB cable. All right. Step number 2. Remove the plastic sheet and all tape from the outside of the printer. All right, let's go ahead and do that then. This is the exciting part. It's not the exciting part. All these stickers, pieces of tape. There's a lot of little tags here. Let me give you a look at the outside of this, since you can't really. Hey Greg, will you see if that camera over there can like see any of the top of this? Hey Greg, will you see if the that camera can see it on top of it at all? And then in the meantime, I'm going to try this camera a little bit.
You want to see the top of it?
Yeah, like can it see over here, or maybe even look at I don't know.
Hold on. See what I
Some
see.
stuff. All right, this is what the top of it looks like. There is a warning or something here about the right way to do things, I'm sure. There's something here on the front about not lifting it in those 2 ways. Over here, we have, this is, about filling the ink. That's right here. And I don't see anything else, but this is what it looks like. We'll just do a little tour of this. So here is the back. So,
Super high.
oh, okay, that's,
Might be able to see it.
yeah, thank you. And back here, so you can see some ports or something back there. Yep, so we got our Ethernet, whatever, ports. We'll figure that out when we get there. And over here on the side, this is the LCD screen, so we'll get a better look at that. And then here's the front of it. So that is a little tour of the outside of the printer. All right. So set that here, and I'm going to switch and see how this camera can see. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you, Greg. So we can see the top now. So let's use this view as I'm taking the tape off. It's a little bit better. So there's a little plastic here on the top, that little tag here. It's a string. Let's just leave that there. We'll open this up and see if we can remove that. All right. So can I open this? Oh, maybe if I take the tape off here. There we go. So can you see that? There's the string. Oh, wow, that's interesting. Let me show you what I'm seeing here. Look, this string is coming from the outside in and down into there, probably to keep something secure, would be my guess.
I think it's leading you somewhere.
It's leading me somewhere?
Yeah, they probably want you to pay attention to wherever it leads to.
You think so?
Where's the other end of the string get you?
Nothing. Oh, that's not true. It goes to this little, that's a good point. It's going to this. So this is saying, step 1, open the cover. Is that what that says? Step 2, yeah, actually, I don't ever understand what this is saying. Does this make any sense to you? These little diagrams aren't working for me.
It looks like you are removing a safety thing.
Maybe they want me, they want me to turn the safety thing. So we're going to turn the safety key and then pull it up and off.
Pull it off, yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's holding it in position for transport.
Yeah. All right.
Back in there before we send it out.
Yes. So before we send this, ship this, we're going to have to. So there's a key right down in there. So let me see if I can get into there so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to turn it and pull it out. Did you see that? All right. So, oops. There we go. So I have removed it now. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that. All right. So we've got the safety key that is keeping, it's like the assembly, that's going to move the print head back and forth. It was locked in place for shipping. So when we ship this, we will lock it back in place. So we cannot lose this little key here. Remember, this is the first time I've unboxed this, so we are learning together. There. Okay, so we'll put this somewhere safe. All right. This is the thing about ink. I'll keep this over here as well. Figure that one out. Let's move over to this one again so you can see what I'm doing. All right, lots of tape back here on this would be the area where the roll of paper would go. Lots of tape. Let's see here. I think I have to lift this up. I'm not sure how to get further back in here though. So maybe it just comes out on its own. All this tape, we're gonna have to put all this back. Are you watching, Greg? So that you can put it all back, we need to keep all this tape because all of this needs to be secured. So I feel like we'll use our own tape.
We'll find something to save it.
Okay. Because I'm sure that this is all here to protect it during shipping. This looks like can you see this here? It looks like a paper, maybe a smaller paper feed or something back here. All right. See, there's even a piece of tape here on that one. I think I might be able to move this a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Over here, great big piece of tape. It goes underneath this. I don't know how to get this one out here. Hey, Greg, any ideas how to get this up and out over here? You can try to figure that one out. There's some on the back, some on the side here.
Which one's this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to get that.
So, like the other one, so you can lift up this hatch here.
Is there another
See
way?
this right here?
Ah, thank you. Yes, because there's more stuff back in there, which you can't see. Let me show you.
For the roll.
Yes, so this is back here. So this printer, not this one, sorry. This printer accommodates a roll of paper. As well, you can also put other paper in it, but you can have a 24-inch wide roll of paper. So there's a bunch of packing material back here to keep everything safe. Oh, thank you, Greg, for helpfully demonstrating the roll of paper. So that's where it would go, is back in there.
Goes right in there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, okay. So let's get that off. And another one here. And one here at the edge as well, right? Okay, so that looks like everything. So again, to lift this up, we press this handle right here, and then this closes. So this is all back here. We'll put our tape, trying to save some of this tape. All right, and then here on the front, you need to see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's do this side. This must open some way. Did you see a way to open up that side panel? All right, and then over here, this just comes off like this. There we go. And there is the name of the printer. Look at, there's one more right here. On the print head itself, or the assembly. There. Okay, how does that open? Just a, is there like a little tab, or just a little under your finger under the side there? Okay, thank you. Thank you, I appreciate it.
There's something else in there. So.
I see there is something else in here. Can we see what it is? It is some tape. A blue plastic thing. So I'll keep that too. There. We got all of the tape and the labels that we were supposed to off of our Epson F570. Is that everything? Nobody missing anything, and then, oh, it doesn't work, you know, because we missed a piece of tape. So check for anything else. This is a big printer. There's a lot, definitely a lot more things to remove on this printer than on the smaller F170. Okay, our next step is to open the left cover. So that would be when we're looking at it, right? So that must be this cover. So we're gonna open the left cover, which is right here. There's like a little, right here. You can just kind of, Now that I closed it, it doesn't really want to, how did you get it open?
You're just gonna have to pull on it.
You just pull on, there's like no place to grab it though.
There's a little corner down there.
Ah, there we go, thank you. I wanted to find the right way to grab it. Okay, so right down here, there's a way to grab it and open it. All right, let me show you what's inside there with our other camera. And we'll switch over and bring it down. All right, there we go. So it says to open the left cover. So again, here it's closed. We open the left cover right here with this little notch right here. And we remove the tape and the protective piece, which we already did that. Oh, actually, this is telling us, the instructions tell us how to remove everything. So if I had done what it told me to, which was to read ahead, I would have known this. It's all right in here. How to open the back cover, how to get everything out. It's all helpfully diagrammed in the quick start guide. I just didn't see it because I didn't follow the rules and I didn't read the whole thing because we're doing it live. You guys don't want to watch me read something. And again, this is the first time I've ever unboxed this, so I couldn't, like, you know, open it all up and set it up and practice it. All right, so let's just make sure we got everything. So we have the left cover open, we removed the protective piece. We opened the front cover and removed that key that we took out and took away. And we removed the protective film from the control panel, which is this right here. That's a control panel. We open the cut sheet cover, which is here in the back, cut sheet cover, and remove the tape, open and fold back the roll paper cover, remove the tape, and dispose of all tape and the protective pieces. All right, we have done everything. So our next step is to fill the ink tanks. So Epson cannot guarantee the quality or reliability of third-party ink, and I recommend you use the Epson Sure Color Sublimation ink, which is what came with this printer. Their drivers are already set with color profiles for their ink. Use their ink. It is not expensive, okay? All right, use the ink bottles included with the printer to set up the product. Part of the ink will be used to charge the print head. These bottles may print fewer pages compared with replacement ink bottles because more of the ink is being used to charge your printer for the first time. That's the reason why you might get a little less, print out of your first bottles. All right, so here are our ink bottles. Let's get these all opened up. And then we're going to shake them. Just need to grab my scissors. I'm also happy to answer any questions if anyone has any question for me right now. What a giant printer. I know, Kathy, right? It is a giant printer. Is there a discount code for this printer? So this printer is, at the time of making this video, which is December 15th, there is a discount right now on it. If you go to jennifermaker.com/makerflow, which is my affiliate link to MakerFlow, you will see that there is a discount right now. I think the sale ends today. That's my understanding. If you're watching this video later, you could always go to that link and see if it's on sale or not. I think that often there are deals, but I think that there's some special deals this month. This is my understanding. So I like to start with black. Teresa says, I'm so interested in doing sublimation. This printer is probably too large for my use, but the F170 looks perfect. Yes. So this will be too large for a lot of people, but we're curious about it, right? I mean, I know I am. So it's okay just to play with it. That's the whole point. All right, so we have our ink, and we're going to follow the directions step by step to do this properly. So it says to open the ink tank cover, which should be on the other side. You see those tank windows over there? So let's bring our camera over so you can see everything I'm doing. So that should be close to pointing at it. I'm going to switch my camera to see if we're close. Oh, hey, look at that. I got pretty close. Move it back a little bit. And then up just a little. There, that's pretty good. Okay. So we're going to open the ink tank cover, which should be here. Oh, there we go. It opens forward like this. And, which you can't see, on the cover itself, we've got the colors right there, black, magenta, yellow, and cyan. So we can see exactly where everything should be going. All right. Open the cap for the black ink, which is this one right here. Okay, that's the cap. Gently shake the black ink bottle for about 5 seconds. So here's our black ink. All right, that's about 5 seconds. Now we're going to unpack it, hold the bottle upright, and slowly turn the cap. It squeaked just like the ones from before. All right, so there we have our black ink uncapped. It says, caution, do not squeeze this ink bottle, and don't touch the top of the ink bottle after the cap is removed. Now we're going to insert the ink bottle into the filling port. So I want you to note that it has those little plastic bits on there. Those are its key, and it's going to fit right into the port at just the right position to fill this, which is really quite clever. So here is all of our tanks right there. I'm trying to get a good angle on that. There we go. So we're going to put this right into here, just like this. And it's going to fill. And if we look down here, we should be able to see it filling. See that black tank there filling? Perfect. Okay. So we just need to repeat this with all 4 ink bottles. Now, be careful that you install the right color in the right tank. This is important. You don't want to mess this up. So be really double check, triple check as you're doing this. And you can only do 1 bottle at a time because it's just too thick to put them all in. So let's get them all ready. And you let this stay in here until it stops gurgling, basically. Also, you can tell in the window here, you can tell how much is filled. It's going to need to go all the way to the top. There was something in the instructions about this. Let's look and see what it said. Filling each of the ink tanks during the initial setup requires less than a full bottle. This is what came with it. Fill the tanks only to the upper line. The ink flow stops automatically when the ink is filled to the upper line. Any remaining ink can be used at a later date. All right, so it's going to stop. So we want it to fill automatically and stop. We don't want to add any additional ink. I wasn't planning to, but thanks Epson for reminding me. So we just pull this up like this, and we just put the cap back onto it like that. All right, our next one will be magenta. So, we want to double check that, right? It says magenta right here. So we're going to use the magenta bottle. Double, triple check that you're putting the right ink in. All right, magenta ink, shake it for 5 seconds. All right, take off the cap. And we're going to close this cap because we're done with black and open magenta. Put it straight down into there, press it down, and I can hear it, right? I can hear it filling. Does anyone have any questions about the ink or anything about it? Okay, Pam says, will it ship okay with the ink full? So generally I don't recommend that you ship your printer with, or transport it really with your ink in it. But I'm not going to let that stop me, and we're just going to plaster the box with stickers, and we're going to, we're going to make sure the caps are on, and we're going to plaster it with stickers. And MakerFlow, who I consulted about this, says it should be okay. So we're just going to try it, and we think it's going to work out. So, but generally you don't want to, but if you have to, you have to, which is what we're doing. I wasn't going to buy 2 of these expensive printers. That's just one too many. So one it is. So we can give this to someone who can use it. All right, the magenta is almost done. You can see the little window here on the bottom, almost filled up. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm gonna lean close. Can you hear that gurgling sound? It's a little slow at the end there, I think. Okay, that sounds good.
It was Sublimation ASMR.
I don't know if you can hear Greg. He just said it's Sublimation Ink ASMR. It's printer ASMR. All right, put the cap back on. Now the next, so we'll go ahead and close this one. Next is yellow, which it says right here. Here's our bottle of yellow ink, 5 seconds. Okay, take off the cap and put it right down. Oops, got to open it up. Put it right down there. Triple checking that it says yellow. All right, there's our yellow. It does fill quickly. Karen says it fills quickly. I agree. Lori says it will be fine. Thank you, Lori, for the vote of confidence. Tater Tot says they make it so easy to fill the tanks. I agree. This is super easy. Carol Ann says the black tank does not look bigger on this model. I agree. It doesn't look bigger. Maybe what we're actually seeing is that they're all the same size. Whereas the F170, let me show you. Here's the F170 right here. Here are its tanks. You see how the black is twice as thick, twice as wide as cyan, magenta, and yellow? And so look at this image right now, and then let's compare it to the F570 and its tanks. They're all the same size. Can you see that? No, I'm a little bit close here, sorry. Trying to get it good. Here we go. They're all the same size. So what's really going on is that we're putting more ink in for the other colors. We're putting an equal amount of ink in for magenta, yellow, and cyan as the black with the F570, which is interesting. I don't know why, but probably because this is a professional level printer and it's assuming that you'll be printing more, right? Okay, the yellow is done. Take that off, put the cap on it. All right, last color is cyan. Close the yellow, open the cyan's cap, shake it for 5 seconds. Twist off the cap and put it onto, just checking that I've got the right color. There we go. So, almost done with the ink. That went really easy, just the way I would expect. It fills the same as the F170, except it appears the tanks are larger for the magenta, yellow, and cyan, so they're taking more of your ink. I'm sure that it's not just going to use double those colors or anything. It's probably just feels that a printer this size and the person who would be using it probably would like to have more ink in their tanks, is my guess. Tammy says, I like how they stop when they're full. I agree. It's really cool. Debbie says, I missed the unboxing of the F170. The good news is you can watch the video. So we did the unboxing of the F170 yesterday. It's right here. It went well. One small issue, which I've already figured out, and I'll explain when we get to that today. You can watch the video. It's on my channel. It says unboxing and setup for the, it doesn't have a fancy name. I think it's like Epson F170 unboxing and setup. I probably will go back later and give it a more interesting name, but it's fine for now. So just look for my F170 setup video. Okay, sounds like the cyan is done. Yes, so we pick that up, put the cap back on. Now there's a little bit of ink left in these bottles, so save it. I mean, it's not going to go really far, but it might be enough to top off your tanks before you, dispose of the bottles or recycle them or whatever. Okay, so our ink is in the tanks. Next step. There's also a couple tips in here. Wait for the ink to fill the tank. Don't squeeze the bottle. It will stop automatically. If it doesn't flow, you just lift it and reinsert it. That has happened a couple times for me, but not today. When it's full, remove the ink bottle, replace the cap. Place the remaining ink aside. You will need it later. It says, do not leave the ink bottle inserted. Otherwise, the bottle may be damaged or ink may leak. That sounds like common sense, but I can see someone doing that because maybe they think that it will just keep emptying into that, but don't do that. Okay, we've closed the caps and we've got all the colors in there. Okay, our next step is to connect the power cord to the printer. It says route the cord through the hooks on the back of the printer and plug the other end of the power cord into an outlet. All right. Let's find where it goes, shall we? I'm going to switch to my little handheld here. All right, so the back of the printer. This, I'm sure, is where they want us to route the cord through. Here we have connection ports. Here we go. There's the power cable. So I'm going to find our cable. I didn't lose it. Here it is. Okay. I'm just gonna plug that in. I don't think you guys need to see me plug it in. There's like a end with the two little receptors that goes in the back here. Make sure it's inserted all the way in though. That's important. Okay, that's in. And then we're going to plug it into a properly rated outlet. If you always pay attention to your outlets. I have one that is heftier than it needs to be, but it'll serve the purpose. Okay. All right. We have plugged it in. The next step is the power. So we need to see everything that's happening here. Let's see, not that shot. So it's over here. I'm going to lift this up. I think I'm going to switch to my camera to this one so that you can see this better. All right. Okay, that seems good. It should give us a nice shot of and the power is actually right up here. This is the power button. But presumably, like it's all going to this screen should light up and do stuff and show us stuff. So I want you to have a nice good shot of that. Of course, we got some weird glare going on there. Which I know can be hard. That's the light, that's the glare from my lights there. There, that's better. Let's do that. All right, so the instructions say, press the power button on the control panel to turn on the printer. Raise the control panel if necessary. All right, so we're going to press the power button right here. Yay, it worked. All right. Ooh, it's got fancy music. All right, select your language on the LCD screen. Is this close enough? Can we see this well enough? Hey Greg, will you try the other camera? Maybe it can zoom in better on this control screen. I like it to be really close so you can really see the
light.
What?
It's glare from the light.
How about now?
Better.
Okay. One moment, please. I need some hold music. Please hold. And that cute little elevator music. I need a little animation that where we can go to that and it's super cute little Jenny.
Doesn't get much closer.
Let's see what it looks like. You ready? Oh, that's as close as it can get.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can zoom in on it though. Hang on. Oh, that's blurry. That's not gonna work. While it's closer, it doesn't seem very clear to me. What do you all think? Which one do you like better? Because seeing the control screen right now is important. Do you like this one or do you like this one? You might be able to tell better than me. Which one? I wonder if I can get this one a little any closer. I feel like this might be better. Does this seem bad? Can you read the screen? Can you remove the banner? What banner? Oh, the banner's not in the way right now. This one? Okay. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it. All right. All right. So Let's just do it. Let's just do it because I'll leave it on. Oh wait, no, I turned it off. We're gonna keep it on. I'm not gonna mess with turning it on and off. Okay, so we powered on the printer. We need to select our language. So English is selected. This looks like it's a touch screen because I do not see any other buttons. So let's just press it and see. It is a touch screen. All right, when you see a message about removing protected parts, select done. So this is the message. We've done this. We select done. Set the day and time. Do I have to do that right now? Probably. Okay. I'm in, the US, so I want month, date, year. That's the second option. And today is, oh good, it knows what the date is. So I don't have to put that in. I can just say, okay. Excellent. All right. And I'm going to use the 12-hour format. And it is currently 1:43. So that would be 01:43. Okay. Oh, we have an error. It says, maintenance error, remove and install the maintenance box. Maintenance box. So we have one here. It came with one, but I thought it was like, because they can fill up and you replace them. I don't even know how to remove and install our maintenance box. I believe it requires, well, I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. I believe it requires a screwdriver. So maybe we just check it out. Maybe there's something about it that's not like stable or something. It's showing me a little diagram. It's showing that it's in the back corner. Okay, so back here, there's a little, okay, it's right here. I can see it. Let me show you. No cause for concern. We're going to figure this out. This is what we do. All right. Oh, I can't switch. I probably need your help, Greg, because I can't like switch maybe. Oh, this won't look fit. It's just hard, right, to switch between the two. Whatever. It's okay. So back here, right here, is in the far right corner, whatever this is. There's this little port hatch. And this is the maintenance box. There is a little diagram right here. Maybe we just try sliding it out and back in. Maybe it's not seated very well. Oh, well, it's like, it just goes in and out. Wow. Like maybe it wasn't seated. Maybe, right? Ooh, I made a sound. Let's see what the screen says now. Ooh, look at that. We fixed it. That wasn't so hard. So the maintenance box just wasn't inserted properly from shipping, is my guess. Okay. So let's set this back down so we can see what we're doing. Yay! We figured it out. All right, so it says preparing right now. And by the way, the maintenance box is where, like, as it's doing when you do power cleanings, or anytime it needs to like flush lines or anything like that, any excess ink goes into the maintenance box. The maintenance box can fill. That box looked really easy to replace. It is not that easy on other Epson printers. In fact, there might be a couple out there where you can't even do it. So that's interesting right away. I don't know if the F170, well, I'm sure it's got a maintenance box, but I don't see an nice easy port for it the way that I do on the F570. So that's cool right away, in case that matters. Okay, so the screen now says, okay, it talks about filling the ink, which we have completed. So we can go ahead and say proceed. Just make sure that you have followed all of these instructions, which we have, so I'm tapping proceed. Make sure that all color inks are filled to the upper line on the ink tank. Select the start button to start ink charging. Okay, so ink charging is when it pulls the ink through the lines and into the printer. On the F170, it took 14 minutes to do. Let's see what it says it's going to do for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and press start. Oh my goodness, guys. I'm afraid to even say how long it's going to take. 74 minutes is what it says it's going to take. Wow, that's a really long time. Maybe it's going to shorten as it goes along. Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is going to take a really long time. That is an hour and 15 minutes to charge these lines. I guess maybe that's something I should have known before I said I was going to set this up live with you. I guess I'm going to be answering a lot of questions. All right. That's fine. We can talk about anything you want. Anything at all. Ask me any question. How about we do an AMA session? Wow, because this is going to take a while. And now that I put the ink in, I'm committed to doing this. We are going to set this up and we're going to test. I'll probably just edit all of this out of the video. The one that, I leave on YouTube. So we can just chat. What questions do you have for me? You can ask me anything you want at all. I'm an open book. I'll talk about anything. So let me know. It is a really, really long time. Deb says, well, if you are doing it live, oops, where did it go? Where did it go? Well, if you're doing it live, you wouldn't know ahead of time that it was 74 minutes. Correct. Now, maybe if I had actually set this printer up before, or if I'd been like, I wonder how long it takes, and Googled it, because I'll bet you if I looked, I could find it. I'm sure somewhere it's out there. I can find pretty much anything I would have discovered. But I'll be honest, I never expected it would take that long. I figured maybe it takes a little longer than the F170, but I didn't expect 75 minutes. So it's okay. It is what it is. That's right, Julie. It is what it is. Just make sure that it's still counting down. All right. You guys have any questions for me? We can keep talking about the printer. I'm going to share some while I'm waiting to see if you have questions. Tammy says, I have the F170, but I have never had to change the maintenance box, and I've had it for 2 years. Yeah, I haven't had to change a maintenance box either on any of my printers. So I just know that it can be done, and I generally know how to do it, but I haven't had to do it myself personally. Maybe a team member did it, but I haven't done it. Christine says, wow, I'm still loving that printer. It's still awesome. Like, by the way, don't let this be a problem. It's only a problem because we're doing this live. This is a big printer. This is a big and expensive printer. I want it to take its time to do it properly, right? We want it to do the right setup. And you do this once. It's not like this happens every time you go to turn on your printer or to put ink into it. It's not going to, this first time, it has to do a bunch of stuff. And there's just probably a whole lot of stuff in there that it has to do. All right. So ask me some questions, guys. I don't hear it making any noise. All right. Best party meatball recipe? Yeah, I have a blank on that one. Maybe someone in chat does, though. Pam says, I have a question about the F170. Feel free to ask me questions about either of these printers or anything else. Please, go ahead, ask me. Okay, Ramona says, can you please tell me the difference between transfer paper and sublimation paper? Transfer paper, are you thinking of the stuff that, in my mind, transfer paper is the stuff that's got the ink on the back, and you press on it and it transfers you kind of like tracing, where you can trace an image onto something else. That's transfer paper. totally different from what we're using here. So I'm thinking it might be just confusing the word sublimation transfer with sublimation paper. It's possible that some manufacturer out there calls their paper transfer paper or something like that. So, but traditionally transfer paper, it has like an ink coating on the back. You would never want to use that for this. So on the off chance that there's someone out there calling their paper transfer paper, just check to see if it's sublimation, right? Maybe they're using it to mean that it's like a lighter weight paper or something. I have no idea. I haven't come across that. But I will sometimes say sublimation transfer, right? And maybe even we've said sublimation transfer paper. If we have, it's the same thing as sublimation paper. Sublimation paper has, first of all, it is rated to withstand heat. You know, so I suspect it's like a laser paper base because laser paper can withstand really high heats because laser printers use high heat during the transfer process. Completely unrelated to sublimation, of course. But there's a coating on sublimation paper that makes it different. That coating allows it to hold ink to be transferred to your surface. So it is different than laser paper. Some people will use laser paper instead. I did a test with it a couple years ago. There is a video on my channel all about sublimation paper. You might like that video. It might explain a lot of questions for you, where I actually compared different weights of sublimation paper, and then I also tried laser paper and copy paper, like super cheap paper. There's definitely a difference. Don't let anyone tell you there isn't. There's definitely a difference. It doesn't have the coating to hold the ink, right? So it might be fine, you know, if you're just doing a whole bunch of things and your colors are not super dark or vibrant. I like really vibrant colors. So I found that it did make a difference in what paper you used. Okay, other questions for me? Oh, I see someone mentioning iron-on transfer paper. Okay, that is something entirely different. So iron-on transfer paper, and I have a tutorial on that as well. That is for where you actually print onto a piece of paper with an inkjet printer, and then you iron it onto your surface, usually a shirt or something, right? Or a tote bag or something. My tutorial on it, I actually have a couple. I have one that has been around for a very long time. Many views on it. I'm trying to think what else might be called. I don't remember how to transfer full color images or whatever. Anyways, okay, the difference between those two things. So that iron-on transfer paper is for inkjet printers, and it goes, you just print onto that and you iron it on. And it's like a piece of paper or vinyl on your shirt or your tote bag. You can feel the edges. It will fade over time. It will eventually crack and peel and come off. Eventually. It's fine for like temporary things, for sure. There's no issues with it. Sublimation, on the other hand, actually transfers its ink right into the surface of the item that you're transferring it to. There's no extra layer. There's nothing sitting on top of your shirt or your surface or your whatever. It's just the ink. The ink goes right into the surface. So we're really talking about two different techniques. So an inkjet transfer is just basically putting your ink onto, usually it's like vinyl, and then putting that piece of vinyl onto your surface. Whereas sublimation transfers are where you're transferring the ink itself, and the paper is just like, you know, it's just like the chip to your dip, essentially, right? It's just the thing that carries the ink over so you can get it onto your surface. The chip itself doesn't go onto your shirt, just the dip. Shanna says, what is in the box on your desk that says maintenance box? Are you sure that doesn't go in the maintenance box compartment? You may want to check what's in the box. So that's an extra one. This is a maintenance box. It's an extra one that came with it, presumably, for when the one that came with the printer installed is filled up. So I do know that much. So you can buy these separately, right? So, and you might need to. I mean, if they're sending us one, it makes me think that this printer is going to fill up its maintenance box. So more frequently than another printer perhaps. So it's this, it should be exactly the same thing. A gray plastic box. It's taped, but it looks exactly the same on the picture. Donna says, how can you tell which side of the paper is the sublimation side? Well, if you're using, it depends on the brand. Okay, that is the unfortunate answer. So with all of the paper that I use, one side actually has the manufacturer's name, brand printed on it. So obviously not that side. It's always going to be the other side. There are a couple brands out there where they don't do that. And instead, I think it's with the Brother paper, I think there's like a little notch. So you have to remember where the notch goes. Now there is a visual difference to the two sides, so you can get used to it, but it might not be easy if you're a beginner. So the simplest advice is check the box. Check the box that it came with. We're going to use the big paper today. So this is the paper that came with the Epson LE that I ordered from Maker Flow, right? So this is what they put into the box, not what Epson put into the box. They said 8.5 by 11, 8.5 by 14, and 11 by 17 paper. Because it can do the big sizes, right? It can do these cut sheets up to 11 by 17. And it can do a roll of paper in the back up to 24 inches wide. Also, it has an auto cut feature. I read that. I did read that in advance. All right, so I'm gonna grab my knife. Yep, still doing good. And or my scissors. It's a big printer. I'm trying to maneuver around it. Oh, here's my scissors. So let me show you what it looks like on this paper. This one is really easy. The easiest, in fact, I've seen of all of the sublimation paper that I have witnessed, that I've observed, that I've tried. Okay, so let me switch to my overhead, in fact, so you can see this better. Okay, here's the box of paper, right? And it comes in plastic because we don't want it to get any moisture to be introduced. So keep your paper in the plastic. So this is the back side of the paper. I didn't have to take it out, but I will anyways. All right, so this is the side that we print on. This is the other side, right? It's got Maker Flow's name on it. So it is, obviously we're not going to print on that. This is the side, it just feels like regular paper. This side, however, you can tell it's got a coating on it. And that coating holds onto the ink to transfer it to your surface. So if you have some paper that doesn't conveniently have, the other side marked, feel it, right? So this side has, it's not powdery, but it doesn't feel as clear. That's the best way to explain it. There's definitely a feeling of something on it, whereas this one feels just like paper, right? I had two sheets there, right? So that's my best advice on telling what side it is. Check the box that it came in, and then if you've removed it from the box, check the way that it feels. The side that feels a little grainier, that's the side you want to print on. All right, 61 minutes to go. Pamela says, since it prints so big, wouldn't you also need a big heat press? So yeah, you would want a big heat press for this. This isn't, if you're going to get this big printer, you're going to want you want the size of heat press you need for your projects. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a heat press that's 24 inches wide by 36 inches. Do they even make those? I bet they do. In fact, I have totally seen some probably extremely expensive presses where they put this, they make these shirts and they print out the whole side of the shirt and they lay the shirt down and then they press it. I've seen them and the whole thing gets pressed. That's specialty equipment. That's not what we do at home, right? This can be used at home. So you probably, it's going to depend on what you're going to want to make, right? So you may not necessarily need the biggest heat press that you can afford with this printer. But when it comes to sublimation, you really only want to do one press. If you have to do multiple presses, you can get like some overlap and it can look funny. I'm going to see if I can give you an example of that on a project that was not done with a large format printer. It was done with just the small one, and we like pieced everything together. So here is a bath mat. Do you see, first of all, we've got a line right here, right? So our transfers weren't lined up there. But do you see this line right here? That is where there were two pieces overlapping, or we pressed in two sections, one to the other. I can't tell from this image. And so you get artifacts like this. And that is why it's so nice to have a big printer. So this mat, I don't know, looks like it could be 2 feet wide. So if you wanted to do this in one pass, it would be tough. Let's just be honest with that, because you would need such a big press to do it. So chances are it's not really going to happen. Now with this printer, you could, and you know, with this printer and with a roll of sublimation paper, you definitely could print the whole thing out into one strip and probably do it like this, right? And so you get the whole thing out, and then you would still have to press probably in sections, right? Because unless you got some giant press, my biggest press is 12 by 15, 15 by 15. And that is the one I'm giving away. That's the HTV Ront AutoPress. So we have 2 of those. We did an unboxing of those earlier in December, and we're giving those away just like we're giving this away. So, that could do, that might be able to do it in 2 presses, which is pretty good. Let's see, is this under 15? No. So it would take 4 presses, even with that print. Even with that press, it would take 4 presses. So you still would probably get some of that, like, you know, those little bits in between, unless you're really good at it. Then you might not. All right. Tammy says Google says it takes 30 to 75 minutes. Well, I guess we lucked out. We got 75. Let's see here. Barb says this thing is a beast. I agree it is. Okay, Carol Ann, are we talking about paper? So, I saw a question about, does it have a paper cassette, I think. So this here is not a paper cassette. This, I believe, is where our paper will come out when we print. In the back here, though, we have a couple things. We have this, so this here is where the roll of paper would go. But there is something else right here that is going to let us feed smaller sheets of paper in. So we're going to use this during our test. So it is right here. So there's no cassette. Instead, it's essentially a rear feed printer. And I can see it here. And when we get to that, I'll show it to you close up. So you can do both the cut sheets. And so probably from 8.5, or I believe the range is from like A3 size, so 8.3 inches, up to 11 inches to go all the way up to 11 by 17. And then if you want the 24 inch, you need a roll of sublimation paper on the back here, which would be convenient. Like, it would always be there, right? Back here. You wouldn't run out very often. And so you could just tell it to print, and it's supposed to cut for you. So it might be like, if you're doing a lot, that I can totally envision how, let's say I wanted to start a business on Etsy doing sublimation projects or prints for people, right? I can totally see how having a printer like this would be something I'd want to work towards. Maybe I wouldn't afford it in the beginning. Let's be honest, right? This is something we work up to, but I can see how I would want to have this eventually, because it would save a lot of time. It would save a lot of time. And I could just send my jobs to it and it would like spit them out and I could do my thing, right? And I would, because when you're working with physical things, I've had physical businesses selling physical products and I've had businesses selling digital products. So I don't know if you guys really know my story, but I started as a graphic designer in the early 90s as my first business. So technically this is my third business. I'm trying to think if there's another one in there. So my first business was called Spread the Word, and it was a graphic design. That's why, if you were in my chat yesterday, I mentioned I bought a printer and I had to take out a loan for it. It was for that business. And then in the late 90s, I started a business called Passporter Travel Press, and it was a travel guidebook publishing business where we published hundreds of thousands of travel guides, mostly to Disney. And then in 2016, I started Jennifer Maker. And Jennifer Maker's, one of my goals with it was to not do physical products and instead do digital products. Because physical products are hard. They are hard. They require the actual thing in your hand. They require storage, careful transport, warehousing, delivery, postage, shipping, so many things, right? So this is my evolution of my businesses. So when you're doing a physical product business, scaling is a lot harder to do, right? One of the ways that you can scale is with your tools being faster or more convenient so you can get more things done, right? So if I were having that kind of business, I would work up to a printer like this so that it could be part of my workflow, because I would be looking for any way to shorten the time it takes to do certain things so I can grow my business to the level that I want it to. If that's helpful to anybody. All right. Anyone got another question for me? Let's see here. Oh, hey, Paula says, the Passporter came with me everywhere when we were at Disney when my kids were teenagers. Paula, did you have a Passporter? Passporter was, I don't know, almost 20 years. Almost 20 years I did Passporter. That was a really important. So many of the things that I do with Jennifer Maker, I learned during Passporter, like how to have a website and how to do e-commerce and all those things. So, and graphic design and books. And I mean, I started as a graphic designer, but that was really early on in desktop publishing, if anyone's ever heard that term. But I have been doing graphic design all this time. It's in everything I do, as you know. Okay, there was a question about, someone mentioned AOL, right? So yes, I worked for AOL, but that wasn't my business. So that was an employee of AOL. It was somewhere in there. All right, Karen asks, what about fabric? Does it print directly on fabric? No, this printer does not print directly on fabric. It only prints onto paper. Epson does, however, make printers that print onto, I might get this one wrong. This is definitely not my area of expertise. I just saw one the other day. I think I even saw it on MakerFlow's site. There is an Epson. It's a new Epson, and it's either to go onto fabric or direct to fabric, or it's either DTV or DTF, whatever. It was one of those two. That's beyond what I am interested. I love this. I love printing to paper. Printing to fabric is a whole other level. If I were doing that as a business, sure, I might want to reach for that, but I'm probably not going to experiment with it myself. All right. Carol Ann says, I would love to be a printer of people's designs. This would be awesome for that. I agree. So there's totally shops on Etsy and elsewhere online where they just print other people's jobs. Totally. So this is a viable business that if anyone out there is thinking about starting something, you can totally do this. You can do it on your own, or you can do it working for other companies. For example, Jiffy Prints, or Jiffy Transfers, or whatever they call themselves. That's what they do. So they're not, I don't think that they are actually printing them themselves. Instead, they have a network of probably home-based or small business-based people who have printers like this, and they give them the job in the right format, and I'm sure they have to follow certain procedures and stuff to get it into the right format, but they print it around the country and then ship it to you. That's why it's so fast, right? So if you are thinking about doing something like this, you'd have to, I don't even know what the machine requirements would be for it, but something like this seems like it would be really good. Sue says, how many paper sizes can it print? So my understanding is that, let's look at the back here. Let me flip it over so that you can see. Oops, this is going to look at me. You don't need to see that. All right, so here in the back, this is that little paper feed that I mentioned right here, right? So when you want to use it, you'd flip it down like this to put your paper in. And on it are sizes. They're printed right on it. Let's see if we can see what it says. It's right down there. So I see A4, something I can't make out, 11 by 17. So it looks like it goes from A4 to 11 by 17 for the cut sheets. But this roll here in the back, this thing here, this accommodates a roll of paper, right? So you just press on this, and there, oops, that's where your roll of paper would go. And that's 24 inches wide. So yeah, so it can go quite wide. All right. How are we doing on time? Let's look and see. We are at 49 minutes. Okay. Let's see here. Carrie says, this would be great. I have 60 small sublimation projects to print out for Christmas. So that's something I want to note. Like, even if you don't need to make really big stuff, instead you're making smaller stuff that would fit on like the Epson F570, you can still use a wide format printer to batch your projects. So while you might, let's say for example, let's find my ornament. Here it is. Let's say you needed to make a bunch of ornaments. So you could probably fit maybe 6 of this design on an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper for the F570. Can you imagine how many of these you could print on the 24 inch roll? Like, I mean, and also it could probably just keep going and going. So you could do so much more faster, right? So if you do a lot of big jobs, and even if they're not wide format, this would save you time. All right, looking for new questions. Gina says, where do you get the rolls of sublimation paper that doesn't void any warranty? I can't tell you that because this is my first time with this printer, so I haven't had to do that. I don't even have one. I don't even have a roll of paper. I don't have a roll of sublimation paper. That piece of that roll that we showed you, that's actually just regular paper that we borrowed from our other big printer just to show you what a roll looks like. Would putting the wrong paper in void the warranty? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that question. Let me know in the chat if it says somewhere that it does. Does Epson sell paper? Do they want you to use their paper? Can you use another source of paper? I wouldn't have thought that the paper would make a difference. Like the branded paper, like that's not a thing that occurred to me. I mean, I believe Maker Flow sells sublimation paper on a roll, for example. I don't think it's Epson branded, so I don't know the answer though. I'm not going to even pretend to know that. All right. Bobby says, is the opening there in front 24 inches wide for the 24 inch roll to come out? It doesn't seem like it, does it? Let's measure it. It doesn't look like it's 24 inches. Maybe it comes out. So this tray is, it looks like this tray here. I'm thinking, do you see these little slots right here, I think the paper comes out here and all the way down to the other one. So if we measured that, then yes, that looks like it's 24 inches. Oh, I must have touched the front cover. It says close the front cover. Cover opened. Close the front cover. Maybe I have to, I'll open it and close it. Great. That would be so typical. I would mess it up because I'm talking about it. The front cover is closed. Let's open it up all the way and close it. I don't think I did anything. I was just measuring. Oh. Let me show you what it says. It says, you see this? I opened it just to, because it said to close it, and now it says load paper, but it wasn't done charging the ink. So I don't know what's going on. Are you giving me a look, Greg? It was in the middle of charging its ink. All I did was measure the front here. Maybe it'll just keep going. Maybe I'll just give it a little time and be a little patient because it was in the middle of its process. I'm not seeing any I mean, I guess it's possible that somehow it finished, but I feel like it would have told me that it finished. It wouldn't have, I'm looking to see if I can see any hints here. It just says load paper on it. That's all it says right now. I'm going to just press the home button. What do you think, Greg? You want to help me? Sure. Troubleshoot? I'm going to press home. We're going to see what happens. Nothing happens. So if it's in the middle of charging its ink, that is a process. And I may normally when you're charging ink, you don't want to turn your printer on and off, which we didn't do, right? Nothing happened with that. My thought is maybe when I was measuring, I touched this somewhere. Oh, could it be this cover? I don't think so, but maybe. It says, this one says close the cutter cover. So this is not the front cover. And that didn't resolve it either. It's still on the home screen. So, I mean, I guess maybe it finished. Maybe we just continue on and we see what happens, right? It's not saying that there's an error. It's not saying, oh, do something. It literally is just saying to load paper. Let's check our user guide and see if it has anything about this. Okay. It says, and this is the step, it says, do not turn off or unplug your printer when the ink is charging or you'll waste ink. It doesn't say, or you'll hurt your machine. So that's good to know, right? So don't let this hiccup worry you. It's okay. Like really, like literally, this is why I do this. So we can see what it's like. All right. It doesn't, it just says, okay, the next step is to complete filling the ink tanks, repeat steps 1 through 9 using the remaining ink in the bottles. It wants me to fill the rest of the ink tanks. Let's take a look. Let's see what our ink tanks look like right now. I'm going to put this on so you can see too. Because, oh, you can see that ink has definitely gone down. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. I'm going to show you. A lot of ink has been used. Look at this. Look how much ink was used during the charging process. It's almost half down, at least a third down from where it was. Let's go ahead and put some more ink in there then. So that's really interesting. That did not happen with the F570. It did not use anywhere near that much ink during the charging process. All right, let's just go ahead and do it then. We're going to continue on as if everything is fine, because sometimes that's what you do. Do I need to shake it again? It doesn't say. I don't know. It didn't say shake it, so we're just going to put it in. All right, so here's the black. Remember to double check that you put the right colors in. You don't mix inks. And I'm just going to go for broke, and we're going to do cyan at the same time. No, let's see, maybe we can do yellow at the same time. I don't think it'll fit. Let's do cyan. Okay. We'll let those fill up. Let's get yellow and magenta ready. Also, while those are doing that, I just want to call your attention to the keys on the front of these. They're different. Are they? Or are they the same? They're different. So that means you shouldn't be able to accidentally fill the wrong bottle into the wrong tank. So that's good. That's the way it should be. All right. Black is done. I believe cyan is done. Now, so notice they're not going all the way to the top because this is all the rest of the ink. This is it. So there's cyan. So let's close those two. And let's do magenta. Wow, I'm really surprised at how much ink it took. Oh, I don't think this one is making the sound. Let's try it again. There we go. So yeah, if it doesn't work, just take it off and put it back on. There's like a little membrane in there that gets poked into, you know, when it gets opened for the ink to fall out or flow through. So if it doesn't get properly opened, the ink doesn't flow. That's to prevent, you know, leaking and stuff like that. Okay, I think that's all the magenta. And the yellow. Let's try the other way. There we go. All right. So we're putting the rest of the ink into the ink tanks after it has charged it. I'm going to take these bottles away. All right, that looks good. Oops, close the cap. Don't forget to do that. All right, so you can see now the ink levels are back up, though not all the way to where they were, right? But definitely a little bit higher. We've used more of the ink now. You can see any of that. Hold it a little closer. Get a nice close shot of our ink levels. All right, so there they are. And then, so let's move on to our next step. Over here. All right. Let's see what our next step is. Okay, so we filled up our ink tanks. Close the ink tank cover. Now it says to select proceed and follow the on-screen instructions to reset the ink levels. But we don't have any option like that. Probably because the cover open. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I take that back. The screen has changed. Let's go look at the screen. See, all is not lost. We figured it out. All right, and then I'll angle this down a little bit. Come up a little bit more. There. Okay. The screen now says, just talking about filling the ink, and it says proceed. Of course, this could be to charge it again. Let's see what happens, shall we? Let's press proceed. Refill the ink up to the upper line on the ink tank. Select the proceed button after refilling to update the ink level. Select the colors you refilled. we refilled all of them. So all are selected and we click proceed. Is the ink in black, magenta, yellow, cyan filled up to the upper line? No. Let's take a look, see better. You tell me. It's not up to the upper line, is it? Where is the upper line there? Let's get in a lot closer. Really close. Okay, so there is an upper line there. It is not filled all the way to that upper line. It's like just above the 1, 2, 3, 4, just above like 80%, like maybe 85%, I'd say. Okay, so the answer is no. So let's go back here. And can you see? So we're going to say no. Set the ink level matching with the actual ink amount. Use this for more accurate ink level notification. Okay. All right. So we're just going to say proceed here. And then I said it was a little bit above there. I think it looks like that. So, okay. And all of them are the same. One more. And one more. There. Ink level has been set. Okay. All right, so now we're on the load paper screen. All righty. We're making progress. Awesome. All righty, what does it say to actually do next? Just said follow the prompts. All right, it's time to install software. This is pretty easy. So I'm gonna move this maybe just behind me so I can get in here. I need to see the screen though. So maybe I'll move it over here. It's a big printer. There. How's that look? We might just leave it here too, now that we've got all that set up. Of course, getting into my chair might be tricky. I might have to move it a little bit out here. You gonna tuck me in, Greg? I think I was gonna kind of move it out a little bit like this so I can get in. No, I think this will work. And then, thank you though. I appreciate it. The offer of a tuck in, thank you. There. This works. Let's pull this other one over here. There, that's not so bad. So, installing software. Maybe I'll just pause for a second. Does anyone have any questions for me about anything that just happened? Oh, someone's asking about this cart. This is the Dream Cart. This is from Create Room, the same people that make the Dream Box, which you can see behind me. So they make really awesome craft room organization furniture. I'm just using this as a cart right now, but it actually has this whole thing. It's got these fold-out tables. This part here opens in the front, and you can actually have a sewing machine or a Cricut in the bottom, and it raises up with a button. It's awesome. So, but it's like a nice big cart, so I'm using it as the cart. All right. Alrighty. How wide is the printer? It seems like it, yes. So, you gonna look for a measuring tape for me, Greg? I think so. I would say, since we know this is 24 inches, I would say that this is like 30, 32, 33 inches wide and maybe a couple feet deep. Come measure it for us. Because this matters, right? Can you actually fit it?
Looks like
38 inches wide.
38.
38 inches wide by how deep is it?
About 19.
about 19 inches deep. And, you know, you need to have some, it said to have like at least like 6 inches above this. How high is it to here?
About 9.5.
9.5 inches tall. But you need height above here because there's stuff back there. Alrighty. Yeah, so it didn't actually take 75 minutes to charge the ink. It was more like 30-ish, I would say, 35 minutes. So that's interesting. Sharon says, do you plan on gifting a dream card? I did that already this summer. I already gave one of these away this summer. So it was like, I think in September that I did it. So, but you never know what I'll do again in the future. We gave away we actually also did a dream card giveaway in November, and we also did a dream box giveaway in November. So we have lots of things. Emily says, how can you stand letting these new toys go once you set them up and play with them? We don't need to have all the toys. We have a lot of stuff that we have collected over the years. And both Greg and I are enablers. We like to see other people make things. So it makes us feel good to be able to both test it, right, with you, and then to gift it. This is like a really good combination for us because, you know, it's okay. It's okay. I don't need another printer. And if I need one, then I will get one, right? But I don't need one. I have so many sublimation printers, but I know other people are in need of something like this. I know something like this could make a difference in someone's life, right? I know that it could start or augment an existing business or an organization. So it doesn't feel bad at all. It feels really good to give things like this away. We love giving things away. We not just with Jennifer Maker, but just like across the board. Okay. Any other questions before I start the software, which I'm hoping will be really easy. Maybe this one, the F570 was really easy. Tina says, you shook the sublimation ink. Should you shake regular ink before you fill the tank? Always check the ink you buy. It's probably different based on which ink and which printer. So don't like take my word for anything. Use the manufacturer's suggestion. All right. One more question and then we're going to go to the next one. What about that black piece on your desk? Says Glenda. I know, right? It hasn't given me any indication of what this is for, but just looking at it, I'll bet it's for the front here. I'll bet it's so that when the paper comes out, it doesn't fall on the floor and get all dirty, right? I don't know what's in the back here. Just some tape. Yep, just some foam and some tape. All right, so I'm sure that's what this is. I mean, I don't know how it attaches or anything, but I imagine, no idea. I don't feel anything here that would indicate how it's supposed to. Maybe it goes in the back. Maybe it's for back here, actually. Yes, I think it's for back here. So I don't know how. It might tell me somewhere. Greg, would you research what this mystery piece is and how we attach it? You don't have to do it right now if you don't want to. Okay, come do it now. Do you know? Like, I don't see anything. Oh. Good job, Greg. You did it. Okay, there's a thing under there to attach it. So that makes a lot of sense because, like I said, it's just going to like fall on the floor. Thank you. I'm going to take it down now, though. All right, let's work on software. It'll probably tell us exactly where to go. So let's check and see. Yes, it says to go to epson.com/support/F570. So I'm going to Move this out a little bit so I can get to my mouse, which I keep in this tray right here next to my desk. All right, so we're going to go to my whole desktop, which should be this. Okay. So we're going to go to epson.com/support/SCF, F570. So epson.com/support/570. All right. And that should take us to Epson's support page for the Epson SureColor F570. So we need to choose our operating system, and this will be just like yesterday. I'm on Mac OS 13, and I tap Go, and here are my drivers. Press that little plus sign. I can get just the driver, or I can get the driver and utilities combo, which is what I want. And I click download, and it downloads right here. And I'm in Chrome, so I can just click on this and go to it and double click it. And I double click my installer. Now your computer might be different, right? If you're using Windows, it'll look a little different, but it's generally the same idea. So it's downloaded from the internet. Do I want to open it? I do indeed want to open it. Okay, make sure you can see that all right. All right, I want to just follow the directions here. So I click continue. I read my super fast, read my license agreement and press continue. Is there a little checkbox? No, no little checkbox. Oh, here we go. Agree. All right, so I'm going to install everything that it wants me to and say install. It's going to require 118 megabytes of space. I have over 2 gigabytes. Sorry, I have over 2,000 gigabytes, so not a problem. If I only had 2 gigabytes, we'd be in trouble right now. That's not enough space. All right, processing the installation packages. This didn't really take very long last time, maybe 5 minutes tops. It's just working on it. So while it does that, I'm just going to look at the Get Started guide to see if there's anything else. It says just to follow the instructions on the screen to run the setup program. Is it going to show my password? Nope. Here we go. All right, so I had to put in my password to my computer for security reasons because it's installing an application, right? And so it's going to give us instructions, and we're just going to follow the instructions on the screen to install the software. It's actually quite easy. Of all of the software I've had to install for a printer, Epson is at the top of my list for ease of use. And I have had a lot of Epson printers, so I've gotten pretty familiar with it. I cannot say the same about Sawgrass, unfortunately. Sorry, Sawgrass. I found that software really confusing, and I actually got lost in the middle of it and had to go back and figure it out. And there's a disconnect between a website and the installer is what happened when I was installing. Hopefully they fixed it by now, but at the time it was confusing to do. All right, so installing inks. Click Start to begin printer setup, then follow the steps. Okay, we're going to confirm that the ink is charged, which it is. So we click the checkbox to confirm it. Now we choose our connection. We can do wireless, we can do USB, or we can do wired network. Just like with the F170, I'm going to do a direct USB connection because it's the most reliable connection and I have the ability to do it. So I'm going to say continue, and it's going to tell me what to do. And I'm going to connect it right now. So remember that both the Epson 170 and 570 does not come with a USB cable. However, it's just a standard printer USB cable. So, Greg, can you find me a cable? Thank you. Just borrow one of the Cricut ones, just like you did yesterday. We have lots of them here. Let me switch my camera so you can see. So for those of you who need one, the Cricut USB cable will do the same job. Works the same. Maybe bring it around the side here. And it'll be back here, I showed earlier where it was, so I will spare you the shaky camera. Thank you. So, USB cable. And I'm putting it right back here. Okay, it's now in. And it should detect it. So you can see the little progress ball thing in the corner there. It should be detecting that the printer is connected. It's not yet though. So make sure everything is connected properly. Is that connected to the actual computer?
Nope.
Oh, well that's not going to work then. Can you connect it to the?
Other ones are like that too.
Oh no. I mean, is it just plugged in? That's all I meant. Yeah. Huh. Nope, still not working. Got the wrong cable. Oh, that might be, okay, yeah. That is this one here. Sorry, everybody. We're working on cables. Yeah. You got it? It's plugged in.
It is.
Well, let me unplug this and plug this back in. Still not showing that it's connecting. Is the printer still powered on? It is. Here, I'll switch so that you're not just looking at that. That's boring. All right, so let's just do our double check. It's possible that this, do we know for sure this cable works fine? Shouldn't assume. Maybe try another USB cable.
Who would have come with a different cable?
Well, it didn't come with a USB cable at all. So we have to use one of ours, right?
I can give you a different one.
Yeah, give me a different one.
They should be.
I know you would think for a $2,000 printer, it would just give you a USB cable. I'm just going to say a $2,000, did I say computer? I meant printer, whatever. They should give us a USB cable. But this is just a standard cable. We're just going to try another one. Sorry, everybody.
Are you going to use this printer?
Yes, I'm using that printer. So don't unplug that one. All right, well, Greg is going to look for a cable, and while he's doing that, I am going to answer questions. So I wish that they had just given us a cable. That would really have made this easier, because you guys might not have cables. We do have lots of cables here, but the other thing that's nice, if they give you a cable, you know that's the right cable. All right, so we'll just let that sit for a minute. So while we work on it. So remember, when we work through our problems, right? So we keep going. Occasionally we'll hit a wall and we'll have to say, okay, that's it. You know, we can't go any further now. But really one of the best techniques just for life in general is to be tenacious and to come at your problem from different angles. So right now our USB cable isn't working. So we can try a different cable. We can try a different port. There's a lot of things that we can do right now. If none of that works, we can switch to a different connection method, right? They gave us 3 different ones. We're not going to try Ethernet, but because there's not an available port for that, but we could certainly try. That was it. Good job. Thank you, Greg. So now it says, are you throwing away that cable? He's throwing away that cable. That cable's dead now. It worked. We just needed a different USB cable. All right, Epson's Express product registration. We don't want to register a product now because someone else is going to own this, not us. So we're not registering this. Okay, and protect your Epson. We don't need to know any of this stuff. But there's a serial number and it's under warranty still, so that's good. All right, someone else gets to worry about that though, not me. All right, your software installation and printer setup are complete. So I'm going to close this. All right, so it is now set up. We're now ready to try printing to it. Are you ready to try? All right, the other things listed in the quick start guide are product support. So it gives you the links to the user's guide, technical support. So because we're using a dedicated Sublimation printer, we have support. So we can go to Epson and they have a bunch of different, there's a phone number here that they're open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. There's a place for you to write your serial number and your proof of purchase and date. So for whoever wins this printer, this was purchased through MakerFlow in, I think I got it in this month, December, and we will make sure that you have that information so that if you need to contact Epson for support, you have it. All right, well, I think that we're ready to print. Okay, so let's talk about printing, because I have a little bit to say about that, what I'm going to do here. Just clear off a little space so we can work. We'll need this, but not yet, so we'll set this down here for now. Okay. So I need, hey Greg, can you pass me the little plastic box with the Subli-flower in it? Thank you. All right. And there's my camera if I need this. Set this over here. Thank you. All right. So what we're going to do today is what I should have done yesterday when I did the F170. We are going to print our Subli-flower today, which is a fancy color wheel. I have all of my tests from all of my printers here. So lots and lots of tests, and we can compare the color to all the other printers I've ever tested. So that's what we're going to print out today. I have some garden flags I was going to put them on. So I have put them on garden flags in the past. I recommend when you first set up a printer that you just do a color wheel like this. You can get this design for free over at jennifermaker.com/Subli-flower. It's got all the colors on here and even the names and or the hex codes of the colors, which can help you in matching up. Like, is that supposed to be that green or not? And I recommend the first time you do set up your printer that you just print the color wheel and you just print on 100% polyester fabric. It's like the best base test that you can have. So let me in fact show you some previous tests. And then we're going to print them out. I'm going to print to the 570 and the 170. We're going to do both. So let me just show you these tests I've got here. So here is the brother. I did that unboxing last year. Here from the Mac, I guess I did 2 tests. This is the one from the app. Here is the Epson Workforce. I don't recommend that printer. Here is the Epson F170 from my F170. It's right there. Here's the Epson EcoTank. Here's the Sawgrass. Do we have anything else in here? We do have some fails. This is important. This is what I want to talk about. The first time I did the Epson SureColor F170, I got this. Do you see the difference? Let's compare it to the correct one, which is right here. So the first time I did it, my first setup, I got this result, which I was not happy with. So I did my research and I fixed my problem, and this is the end result, and this is the right colors. So when I did my F170 yesterday, I obviously remembered about my problem, but And I remembered my solution was to make sure I was using the drivers, but there's actually a second component to it that I forgot, because that happens, especially on live video. So let me show you, because we did these ornaments, right? So what you saw me do yesterday was this one. Oops, not that camera. There we go. What you saw me do yesterday was this one. And I said, I don't know, that doesn't look quite right to me. It looks too dark from the original. So I checked my own video and been like, oh, I was supposed to do this other thing too. And this is the result, right? So you can see I improved and I did better and I fixed my color issues. So for anyone who's like, okay, well, what did you do, Jennifer? I'm on a Mac and I needed to change my color handling from the Epson color handling to the color sync handling. It is all very clearly spelled out in my own video. I used to say when I wrote books for a living, I write everything down in a book so I don't have to remember it. This is like a thing I said all the time. So apparently now I say I make videos about things so I don't have to remember them because I didn't remember this, but it was right there in my video. So if you're on a Mac like I am, make sure you're changing your color handling to color sync, and I will demonstrate that when we are doing our video today. Sorry, I didn't remember that. It's a lot of details to remember in my own defense. So let's print out our Subliflower and see how this works. I already have it prepped in Google Docs, just like we did with the F170. So let me go over there and show you. All right, so, all right, there we go. That is in, this is just Google Docs, free software, right? I've uploaded my image already. So you see it's already, this is the Subliflower. So we're gonna go to File, and we're gonna go to Print, and we're going to ignore all of the stuff at the top. Instead, we want our print settings. Our print settings give us the right amount of control, and it's important for getting the best quality with the best color. So we click on More Settings, and we choose Print Using System Dialog. Okay, that's our print system box. All right, on this page, we want to make sure we have the right printer selected. Let's see if it shows up after our installation. And there it is. Great job, Epson. So Epson F570 is right there. Okay, now we want to go down to printer options. All right, color matching. Color matching. So we're going to click on color matching, and I'm on a Mac, so this is a Mac thing, not a Windows thing. On the Mac, you have it defaults to Epson color controls. No, we don't want that. We want color sync. So the rest of it didn't matter, but we want color sync to get the right color. So we're going to click OK. And then, so if you're on Windows, you don't have to worry about that at all. And then under printer info, I got to remember where to go here. There's a lot of options. No, not printer info. Printer handling? No. Printer settings. Next is printer settings. All right, I'm going to do a big piece of paper because we are testing the large format. So I'm going to go ahead and say, oh, let's go back actually and change that. Specify size. Maybe I can just change it here. That would make it easier for me. 11 by 17. There. It's going to scale it up. I don't really want it to scale it. I want it to still be 100%. I just wanted to print on bigger paper so we can play with that. So I think that'll work. I guess we'll see, right? Okay, our paper source is going to be a sheet of paper, not the roll paper. Do you see the roll paper here? We're not using roll paper. What's the other one? Auto sheet feeder. We're not using an auto sheet feeder. There must be one. I didn't know that, sorry. We're going to just use a sheet of paper. All right, so I guess we have to change the size here. I feel like we did. I don't know. Let's just try this, okay? So we've got our size. No, see it defaulted. All right, so we're We're going to go back here. I wonder, you know, something now that I think about it, it might not be able to go that big. Let's see. Let's go back. So I'm back in Google. I'm in Google Docs. I'm going to go to page setup. And I'm going to see if I can change this to 11 by 17. I can. Okay, let's just do that. We're changing it to 11 by 17. All right. And then we don't have to worry about it. Let's see. How big is this? Okay, that's fine. Let's just center it just for fun. All right, so we're going to, yeah, and we do not need to print on this big sheet of paper now. But I want to see it print, so we're going to do it anyways. So let's try it again. So we've changed our paper size to match, we've changed our page size to match our paper, so 11 by 17. So we're going to, oops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. All right, we're going to go to File and choose Print. Then we're going to go to More Settings, choose Print Using System Dialog. We're going to choose our printer, the Epson SC500, and then under Paper Handling, we're going to close that. We don't want that. And then under Printer Options, we're going to click on Color Matching because I'm on a Mac and I want to switch it to Color Sync. And then under Printer Settings, it still says US letter. I don't know why it says that, because it's obviously not the size that we chose. So we're going to try specifying the size again. That's weird. Why isn't it not letting us, why is it not doing that? It's like even changing all this. It's like Maybe I probably have to set it somewhere else. There we go. Here, US letter. Let's change this right now to USB 11 by 17. Okay, that was my issue. All right, so I feel like I should start this again because that's just kind of a mess for anyone who's following along in this video. So let's just try it again from the beginning, from the top. Okay, so here we are in Google Docs, free software that I like to use for sublimation. There's our Subliflower. This is what's going to print. It's on a piece of 11 by 17. The page is already set up for 11 by 17, which is what we're going to print to our 570. So we can see it print a big sheet. So it's all set up and ready to go. So we just go to File and we go to Print. And under Print, we want to ignore these settings and instead choose More Settings so we can go to the System Dialog. So we have the best quality and color. So we're going to do System Dialog. And on the print screen, we're going to make sure our printer is selected. So that's the Epson F500. So we select that. And then we just want one copy, so all that's fine. Paper size, we need to change to 11 by 17. And we're going to retain the scale that it's currently at. That might not matter, but we're just going to choose that anyways. Our orientation is portrait, that's correct. We want the scale to stay at 100%. Always make sure you're not scaling or doing fit to paper, because if you do, it will change the size of your design, right? You want your design to be the size that you set it to be. All right, and then under Printer Options, and keep in mind, this is how it looks on my Mac. Even if you have a Mac, yours might look different than mine. If you're on Windows, it's definitely going to look different. Every print setup box is a little different. You're just looking for things that are important. So for us, that is making sure we have the right printer selected, making sure we have the right page size, making sure that our color we have the right color profile. I'm going to show you that in a minute. And then making sure that we have the best quality. Okay. So for color, on my Mac, I click on Printer Options, then Color Matching, and I want to switch to Color Sync. Color Sync is important. If we keep it on Epson, color controls, the prints turn out too dark. So we want Color Sync on the Mac. On Windows, this is not an option. All right. And then under Printer Settings, Printer Settings, we want to make sure we have the right paper size, so 11 by 17. Our paper source is not the roll paper. You can see the roll paper here. It's not the auto sheet feeder. We don't have an auto sheet feeder. It's a sheet of paper. So we want to be sure to change that. Media type that says use printer settings. I'm going to switch it to textile instead, because we're going to put this onto a garden flag, which is, you know, a piece of 100% polyester essentially. All right, select target, off, no color adjustment. Well, I don't even have an option there, so we're just going to do that. Our color is color. Now this I'm very unfamiliar with. This is my first time using the F570, so I don't know any of this. This might apply, like maybe if I was using the Epson color controls, these would be different options. So, you know, I guess we'll see how that works. Okay, and then the level is quality. So we have 3 options here. We have speed, don't use speed, it's gonna look bad. Quality and max quality. I'm going for max quality. I always go for max quality. I'm gonna turn off high speed. Do I want finest detail? Nah, I don't think that's important here. So there's also a settings box right here. Color controls, but I don't see any difference between these two. They look identical to me. Probably because we're not using any color control, right? So that's interesting. I don't know exactly what that's about, but I'm sure I could learn some more, right? It's possible that this is related to the Epson Edge Print Pro software, which we're not using, or not. I'm not sure. Let's just give it a try. So we're going to say, okay. Now we don't have any paper loaded. We really should load that before we try to print to it. So let's figure out how to load paper. We got our 11 by 17 paper here. And now I'm going to take a single sheet, not more. If I take a single sheet, I'm less likely to have printer feed issues. So I'm just going to guess at how it works. It doesn't look too complicated back here. Let me show you what it looks like. So here is the paper feed tray. It looks to me like I just put my paper in here with the side I want printed up. That's what that little symbol there, you see this one in the center right here? That's what that means. You'll find it on pretty much every printer tray. It tells you what side to load your paper. So we want it, you know, the side we want printed should be up in the tray. So let's just give it a try. So this is the good side of our paper. This is the non-printing side, right? It's got the logo on it. So we're just going to set this in here. Oh, let me show you something. So in here are the guides. You see these blue plastic things? We need to widen those to allow it to fit our paper. I got one on one side and the other one moved too. So we've got them. Okay, good. All right. Now we can put our paper in. It actually is a little bit wider than my piece of paper. So also there's a thing in the back here that extends out. Can you see that? To hold my paper up. Okay. All right, so I've got paper in there now. Oh, okay, maybe I do have an auto sheet feeder. Look at this. Can you see the screen? It says auto sheet feeder. Okay. So I am using there is an auto sheet feeder on this. This probably just means the paper tray in the back. It's just a fancy word for the paper tray. The paper size is wrong though. Can we change this? Huh. Paper size, there we go. And we're gonna do, sorry, this is a little shaky. There's the scroll. Oh, here we go. 11 by 17. There we go. So we've got 11 by 17 selected there. And then I'm going to press OK. All right, so that looks okay to me. Ready to try it? We find out what happens, right? All right, paper's loaded. The ink is charged. Let's go back to our settings here. And let's change paper source from sheet to auto sheet feeder. Except now it thinks the paper size is 8.5 by 11. So let's just say sheet instead, because that doesn't seem right. Let's just try this. It'll tell us if we're wrong. Okay, I'm pressing OK. And then we have to press print again. And little icon in the bottom, oh, you can't see that. Little icon in the bottom here popped up. There is the job working. Paper out or incorrect loading. All right. Our paper is not, cut paper is not loaded. Load cut paper. Well, I guess I could check the manual now. All right, let's see if there's a thing that talks about paper in here. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. All the support and stuff is in here. In different languages, English and Spanish. Let's see. And this is all just the other languages, so I don't actually see anything about how to load paper. Let's check this again. Maybe it's just somewhere else. They probably just want me to go online, right? To look it up, figure out how to load the paper. I'm sure because it says right here, user's guide. Click the icon and the guide to access the online user's guide. Let's just see if we can figure it out. We'll go to the user's guide if we have to. Cut paper is not loaded. Load cut paper. Print settings, USB, 11 by 17. Cut paper is not loaded. Maybe it's not loaded in there right. Maybe I didn't load it properly. Maybe it didn't go all the way down. I'm trying. I don't think that's it though. Let's just say okay, see what happens. Okay, so there's a little diagram. Remove paper. You see this? Remove paper loaded in the auto sheet feeder, then return the paper support to its original position. Okay. I will do that. I will remove the paper and return it to its original position. Oh, so maybe I'm supposed to do it differently somehow? I just assumed that's where I would put the paper. I guess I'll have to look at the user's guide, huh? All right. What?
What is the screen telling you to do?
Open the cut sheet cover and load a sheet. Okay, well, yeah, I don't see where it's supposed to load. You want to help me figure this out? It says close the roll paper cover. So here I can see some markings here on the side. I put it in there. It said to close that. It said not to use that. So that, maybe we just have the wrong thing. And this really is like...
These are for the paper roll.
Yeah, that's for the paper roll. Because it looks like it can use smaller paper rolls, by the way. It doesn't have to use the big one. I guess maybe I just go look at the guide. I mean, how else would this go in here? All right, so let's try canceling this and try the other option for how to feed it. Okay. Here, let's put this in again though.
through all these steps.
I didn't show me those before. Okay, so let me show everybody what that says. All right, so it's saying, you see here, make sure that the paper support is folded forward. Okay, so back here, you can see it. So that's the tray. And then make sure that this is folded forward. Okay. And then what does it say to do? Insert paper into the slot with the printable side face up, face forward, front, while oh, that's interesting. It wants me to put it into the slot. So if we look down there, this is kind of weird. So what slot? Yeah, I'm not seeing a slot here. This doesn't have a slot. This is all just the thing. Where on earth would I put this? You see anything that looks anything remotely like a slot down there? Does anyone else see anything? Here, try that. That's what I did before, and it told me to not do that. And also, it said this has to be folded forward. That's what the direction said.
Well, it couldn't be there, right?
Oh, that worked. Look, it changed. How strange is that?
So, maybe for this paper.
Yeah, maybe
to use, so if you look back here, you can see all the rollers for the paper roll. So maybe because of the special paper.
Yeah, maybe because of the option I chose. This is what our option is right now, and I just chose the wrong option. So let's see if it works. Okay, so I canceled it though, so we would need to try it again. All right, so let's just go and try it again because I think it's in the right spot now. Thank you all for learning with me and for your patience. I'm just going to go through the whole thing again. And so selecting the printer and selecting the size, 11 by 17, and retaining scale. And then under options, make sure I get everything right and don't mess it up. That's my goal right now. So color sync, and then printer settings. I'll show you what I'm doing, sorry. Printer settings, 11 by 17 auto sheet feeder, which is what we're using, I think. Textile, and then max quality but not high speed. That's what we had, right? All right, let's see if that works. Ooh, it just said loading paper. Look at this. So maybe I had set my job enough to the printer that I don't really know what it's doing. It's loaded the paper. Let's go ahead and press OK, and let's see if it just will print now. Okay. I just sent it. No. Paper SKU error. Paper loaded with SKU. Reload paper. Eject paper. You want to try it again? So let me press this eject button. Okay. If this doesn't work, we're going to try the other option. Because I think we're doing the wrong, I think we have the wrong option. If you want, we can just back out. Because that doesn't seem, I don't, we're going to back out. Like, I would never want to load paper like that. So we're going to figure out the other way of doing it. All right, so I'm just going to cancel this. Okay, don't worry about it, Greg. I'm canceling it. Cancel print. Okay, we're going to try it again. All right, let's go back to here and figure out, because I just want a sheet of paper, right? That's all I want. Just a sheet of paper. So here's our printer. It does get easier as we go through. We know what we're doing now, right? So 11 by 17, and then paper handling, and we want, paper options, printer options, color matching, color sync, and then settings. All right, we're going to use a sheet of paper. Okay, this looks all right to me right now. Our quality is max quality, and we're turning off high speed. So 11 by 17, 11 by 17, a sheet of paper. All right, so let's go ahead and load in a sheet of paper. All right, so we make sure we got everything right here. And I'm just loading it in the back like we did before. Okay, paper is in. Loaded in the rear feed paper tray. Let's see what happens. Pressing OK and print. Everything looks right. I'm just double checking. All right. So it's still telling me to load cut paper. Cut paper is not loaded. This is what it said before. So obviously it's loaded. And that's how we ended up trying to figure something else out, wasn't it? Wrong side is not the wrong. Oh, it is the wrong side. You're right, but it's not loading, so that's not actually a problem. It doesn't know what side we're on. Thank you though for letting me know, everybody. But that's not our problem. Let's just put it in again. Maybe it's just not down far enough. It's doing so I am stuck right now. I am not sure how to load this paper. It just wants me to, put it like into a slot that I can't really see. I don't know what's going on here. It's saying the same thing. It's saying remove this and close all of that and then put it into a slot. I mean, that was the option I tried before, right? Now I don't feel confident in my choice from before. Have I tried both of them? I don't know. I'm trying again. I just canceled the job again. So I need to focus. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to focus for a minute. Try to get, because I'm talking and I'm not remembering what I'm doing. So I'm going to try this again. This time I'm specifically trying, actually, I'm going to do it all, and then I'll explain what I'm doing. I will say I do not like how I'm struggling right now. I shouldn't be struggling like this. It shouldn't be this hard to figure out how to load this printer. This reminds me of that Canon, that wide format Canon. Do you remember that? Hang on, there's no print job in there right now.
Maybe it needs to go in.
All right, so we have three options. It's like, I want you to look at this screen, Greg. We have three options. We have roll paper, which we don't have. We have auto sheet feeder. This is what I'm going to try right now, is the auto sheet feeder. Okay? Because I'm not sure this is what I have been selecting. We're going to try this, auto sheet feeder. Okay? All right, let's go ahead now and put this sheet into this back here. Put it in there.
Like this?
Yep, like that. Okay, now let's try printing. So help me remember, everybody, we're trying the auto sheet feeder right now. It says printing, sending data to printer. But what does the screen say? I'm just going to close all this. It's working. I think it's going to work this time.
If it does, you want to catch it.
I know. Yay. Okay. So then our issue was we were selecting the wrong thing. Sheet makes sense, but it wasn't the right thing. What we needed was auto sheet feeder. All right, so it's going to come out here. Do you want to attach that thing? Or should I just catch it?
No, catch it.
Okay, we'll catch it. Patty says, I would have given up a long time ago. But if you would have given up a long time ago, then you wouldn't have set up your printer. So don't give up. Tenacity is underrated. I'm a very tenacious person. I highly recommend it, perhaps not for your sanity, but for your success. I need to get my phone plugged in. Will you? Oh my gosh, we can't even plug it in. It's going to die. Oh well. We'll get this printed and then we'll plug it in. Well, I did choose max quality, didn't I? It's probably why it's so slow right now. But look, it's printing. And can I also note that it is properly printing mirrored, and I did not tell it to, which is really good. Because I completely forgot we should check for that. So the F170 also auto mirrored the prints. So happy to see that the F570 is auto mirroring our prints without us having to tell it what to do. There we go. Thank you. So there is our sheet of 11 by 17 paper. And I'm going to just set it over here onto the desk and switch my camera. All right. Perseverance paid off, and we learned that the Epson 570 to print just a sheet of paper in the back, or really probably it holds multiple sheets. I don't know how many, sorry. We need to use the auto sheet feeder, not the sheet option. Okay, so if you get stuck, use the auto sheet feeder option. This is our print. This looks great to me. This looks like what I'm used to, right? So we're going to press this because, as always, you cannot see the true colors of sublimation ink until you have heat activated it and with a heat press or some other heat device, right, at the proper thing to see how it looks. But before I do that, we're going to compare it to the F170. So I'm going to go ahead and print the same design to the F170. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Here I am, but I'm going to switch our page setup back to 8.5 by 11 because the F170, its max size is 8.5 by 14 inches. So we're just going to do 8.5 by 11. So we need to make sure that this is sized. There we go. So I put that back in the center of the page. Oops, that doesn't look quite right. Let's move that up. In fact, that doesn't look right at all. It must be set on page list. There we go. Okay. That looks good to me. All right, so we go to File, Print, and we click on More Settings, and we choose Print Using System Dialog, and we're going to choose the F100 this time, Letter Paper, Printer Options. Our color matching will be color sync to get the proper color, and our print settings will be textile, and our print quality will be fine, and it auto mirrors it. This is checked by default. And I just need to get some paper into here. So can you help me find some paper? I don't want to have to open up this box. The paper from yesterday, the 8.5 by 11 inch paper from yesterday. I think it's in the sunflower room. I think I moved everything over there. I just forgot that I needed to have some paper. And then we will print them, and we will have both. I could have just taken this sheet, I guess, and cut it in, but I don't like to cut paper to put into printers because if you don't cut it exact, you can get paper jams. So I tend not to do that unless I am desperate for a piece of paper. Thank you. Okay, paper. So let's load the Epson F170. It has a paper cassette. Oh, there's paper in there. That's fine. Thank you, Greg. All right. Okay. Epson SC F100, US letter, color sync, fine, mirror, print. All right, so this should print for us. Nice and easy. Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's get set up for our test. I'll need your help again, Greg. I need the Cricut Easy Press and I need the mat that's underneath it. And the garden flags that are beside it. Thank you. Got it? So garden flags for our test. Plug in our heat press. Thank you. All right. Let's make sure this is the right size for our design. Yep, that looks good. All righty. So you can see it printing. I will compare these before we press so you can see what they look like before we press and then after we press. And then we'll compare them to the other things that I've done so you can see. All right. So I'll keep them in the order. So this side will be the F170. This side will be the F570. And here is an overview of them. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so we can see them a little better. Okay. All right. There. They look pretty much identical to me. What do you all think? I know they're mirrored as they should be. They look the way that, oh, I guess I actually do see some slight difference here. I think the green looks a little darker. I think the F570 all looks just a touch darker, but still looks like it's in the ballpark. I could, again, let's, as a reference for what isn't in the ballpark for color is this, right? So this was the first F170 I did. See, F170. This was really dark. Neither of these look like that, but again, we cannot tell until we press them, right? But I do see some slight differences. This is really common. Okay, so let's try pressing. I'm going to press the F170 first, then the F570. And thankfully, they're on different size pieces of paper, so I can tell what the difference is. So we need to heat up our heat press, and I'm going to heat it up to 380. Let me just double check that before. I'm going to check, actually, I'm going to check in here. We're going to check the Sublimation cookbook for polyester. It's not a t-shirt. Let's see if we can find something closer to our garden flag. I mean, it's just fabric, but I'm going to see if I've got something in here. No, I don't remember. There we go. Things are written down and in videos because we cannot remember all the things. All right, garden flag. So we're going to press this on the Easy Press, 380 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds, medium pressure. All right. So 380 degrees is what we're at. Let me turn this so you can see better. There, 380. So 380 for 60 seconds. And let's lower our time. There we go. Okay, let that heat up. Let's prep our area here. We're going to start with a piece of white cardstock to protect our pressing pad. And then we are going to press this is just a garden flag blank. It is a great thing to test on because it's just a piece of 100% polyester. And it's already like pre-cut, and it's not, you can just buy a bunch of white polyester fabric. I have that too, but all the edges are ragged and this looks nicer. So we're going to go with this, but you can just go get a whole bunch of white polyester at the local fabric store or from online and just use that for your tests. All right, and then a piece of butcher paper over it. And we're going to preheat it. It doesn't have to be all the way to the right temperature to preheat. This is just going to get out moisture, which is all that really matters, is that it be, like normal household iron temperature. And besides, it's going up pretty quick. And when we preheat our fabric, we preheat pretty much everything that we're going to sublimate, because moisture and sublimation ink don't play well and it can cause blurring. So we want to have all the moisture out. All right, now we're going to do our F170 test first. So I'm going to just set that down here. I'm not going to stress about, I want to leave some space at the bottom for my little note or a little label, but there we go. And some tape. So a little at the top here. I'm just going to tape all 4 sides. In this case, I'm not going to worry about getting tape across all 4 sides. Everything is nice and flat. Now, what I could do, and what might be important, this is not really a tutorial on sublimation, but I might want to like cut or rip the edges here so that I don't get indents in my fabric, right? So, but I have other tutorials that cover that, so we're not going to do that. So we're ready to press this. Put our butcher paper on top to protect our heat press from any ink blowout. All right, and our design is right here. So we want to press there for 60 seconds with medium pressure. All right, and then press the power button. Okay. Yeah, I see some questions about, so the first sheet is a piece of white cardstock, and then our blank, and then our design on top of it, and then a sheet of butcher paper. The cardstock and the butcher paper are there really just to protect our mat and our press from any ink that might escape, right? So right now we're sublimating our design. We are heating it up to 380 degrees Fahrenheit, where it goes from a solid to a gas, and then the gas infuses into the surface of the garden flag, right? And it's going to stay there and be permanent. And you're not going to, it's going to look like it was just made, like dyed that way or something. And the temperature matters. 350 to 400 degrees is necessary. That's Fahrenheit, necessary for sublimation. But it can vary a little bit, and the time does vary. Okay, we lift straight up like this. We let it cool for like usually at least 10 seconds because it's still sublimating as it cools down. All right, so here is our design. And then we just take the tape off and we reveal our beautiful design. That looks lovely. So again, this is the Epson F170. See, it looks great. I don't see any issues. The color looks fantastic. All right, so let's do the next one. Use a clean sheet. I know that it seems wasteful, but you can recycle, but it really makes a difference. You don't want to transfer old ink from your previous project onto your new project. So a sheet of white cardstock here, And then we put on our garden flag. There we go. And we're going to cover it with a clean sheet of white butcher paper. To preheat it first. So preheat it for 10 seconds. To remove the moisture, I'll just press the button, but it doesn't matter because we're just gonna, it doesn't have to be for the whole time. So just 10 seconds. You can move it on like this if you're doing it for just preheating, but you don't want to do this if you've got sublimation or print under there or anything. Okay, that's good. Alrighty, so there's our preheated garden flag. Now we need our design. Which is right here. And so we're just gonna flip that over onto our garden flag. It's like this. It's cool. It's cool that it can print big like this. I know that our design didn't, you know, we didn't do anything fancy or anything, but we're gonna stick with simple stuff right now. Put this down a little bit to get that taped. I think taping is important to do. It's easy to be like, oh, I don't need to tape, but it'll keep it pressed against your fabric or your surface, and it won't lift up because if it lifts up when you're pressing, you can have the gas kind of like smoosh around in there and everything will get blurry. So we don't want anything like that. And it's a little bit too long. I could trim it, but I'm just gonna tape down here and it'll be fine. Okay, that looks good. So again, same conditions exactly. We're pressing for 60 seconds at 380 degrees Fahrenheit with medium pressure. Oops, I forgot my clean sheet of butcher paper. It's fine. It was like just a second. There we go. There. Did it start again? There we go. I probably didn't need it. This paper, this Maker Flow paper seems really, you know, it seems really good quality. It's probably not going to leak through, but you just never know, right? So that's why we use the butcher paper to prevent it. We don't want any ink on our heat press because if we get anything on there, it could transfer to another design. Same for the pressing pad. So we're just protecting them. If you do get sublimation ink on your platen of your heat press, you can clean it off with some alcohol. If you get it onto your pressing pad, sometimes you can just press over and over and over and it kind of will lighten it and eventually it'll stop transferring, right? So like you just keep heating it up and pressing it, kind of like soaking it off like you would like a paper towel or whatever. But you also might just have to buy a new one. I've just kept using all of mine. So this worked out for me when I had made mistakes. All right, lift up straight. Wait at least 10 seconds for it to like, go, you know, switch from being a gas to a solid so we don't blur it. Pick up our butcher paper. All right, let's see how it looks. Beautiful. This is what I expect. I have done many Subliflowers. Now let's compare. Turn off my press. We don't need that anymore. All right. Put this down here. So there is the Epson F570. How does it compare to the F170? All right, F170, F570. Really, really, really similar. Maybe still a touch darker. Both are really vibrant and look really good. They look correct too. So let me give you some examples of others. So this is the sawgrass. Okay, kind of set these aside and put the things that we're comparing in the middle. So this is the sawgrass. This is the Epson Workforce with Printer's Jack ink. Like, I don't know, like you really have to look hard to find the differences. This is the Epson Eco Tank with Hippo ink, right? This is pretty bright. This is the Brother SP1. Looks really similar. Certainly, this one's a little dark still. I definitely think it's a little dark. This is another Brother SP1. I did it a little differently. This is the Epson SureColor F170 that I did like 2 years ago. Not quite 2 years ago. It looks identical to the one that I just did. And really close to the F570. And then this is the first Epson 170 I did before I understood that I really had to be using color sync on my Mac. So, and the printer profile, like it's really important. So you see the difference here between these two, right? So you could have a lot of variation. Sorry, you can have a lot of variation in your color from printer to printer. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. If you feel it needs to be perfect, then you might want to do some extra things. Okay, so there are printer profiles. Now this has its own. Clearly there were some options there that we didn't explore. Also, as I mentioned, there is software that works with this called Epson Edge Print Pro. It works on Windows only. It comes with the Pro edition of the Epson F570. I think it works with some other Epsons too, but I don't think it works. I don't know if it works with the ones. I don't know. I can't use it. It's Windows. So my understanding is that's like really professional level software where you have like some ability to like tweak things. Honestly, you probably don't need that. You probably don't. But if you do, that is an option so that you know. I even saw that just earlier this year, excuse me, I need a drink. Earlier this year, I saw that Epson came out with a new tool for helping you check your color. And I have no idea, it's probably expensive, but I saw that and it's like this little thing in a little briefcase. So if you were really, really, really serious about your color and really wanted to figure it out, there are things that you can do. But for the most part, for those of us printing from home, we're just looking for a representation that looks pleasing and close enough to the finished, to our original design. It doesn't really usually have to be perfect. When you need perfection is when some company comes to you and says, I need you to print my logo in PMS whatever, right? So they need it to be really, really, really on that color. That's why professional level sublimation printers need to have really exacting color. But typically for those of us who are at home, we don't. For all I know, this darker color is the most appropriate color, right? Versus this, which is pretty light. I mean, let's take a look at these two again. I mean, they're really, really close. The red is a little bit off here. Everything is just a little darker. Maybe not the blues. The blues look really close to my eye, but they're very close. They're both excellent. They're both vibrant. Which one is right? The only way we could actually know is to use something like that tool that Epson has where it like looks at the color and then, with a special, it's like a special camera. It's like a physical item that like looks at it and compares it to what it's supposed to be. That's not, I don't personally need that level of quality control on my stuff at all. All right. So let's just do a recap of the F570, okay? Just clean up a little bit here. And I'll take some questions too. So let me know if you have questions. And actually, I am going to, my phone is dying, Greg. Can you plug that in somewhere so that if Alexa calls, we get it? Thank you. My daughter works today, so I don't know if she's at work or not. But we try to keep really close on our phone just in case she needs help. We are transitioning to adulthood. So, okay, anyways, so some of the things about the F570 real quick. So it connects through USB, Ethernet, or integrated wireless, right? We used USB. Once we had the proper cable, that was really easy to do, no issues. As far as paper size, it supports rolls from, it can go as short as like a little over 8 inches to as wide as a little over 24 inches, almost 24.5 inches. It uses a 2-inch core. The core matters if you're going to buy any kind of roll paper. We've learned this from experience. It also will do sheets from 8.5 by 11 all the way up to 11 by 17. So you saw me do an 11 by 17 sheet, okay? It does not go beyond that. It doesn't go to like 13 by 19, right? If you want to go beyond 11 by 17, you have to use the rolls. Its resolution is 2400 by 1200 dpi. That is twice the resolution of the F100, but it's also twice the size. So without digging deeper, I don't know if it's really meaningful. And those are the big important specs about the Epson F500 that I want you to know. It claims to have like something called precision ink drop control that Epson says is for outstanding clarity and sharpness. Honestly, when it comes to sublimation, nothing is ever so crystal clear and sharp anyways. It's never like it's blurry, but once you actually press it to something, I don't find that sharpness is the word that comes to mind ever, just so you know. So that's why it not having the best resolution doesn't seem to matter that much. Now, I do want to speak to about, because I know that you guys will wonder about this, how does this large format printer compare to something like the Epson EcoTank 15,000? Okay, so with an Epson EcoTank, it's made for inkjet printing, but we can put sublimation ink in it instead. So let's just talk about that. The Epson EcoTank is a lot less money. The 15,000 is typically about $500 to $600 versus this one, which was $2,000 for the F570. Okay, so big price difference. And the 15,000 can print up to 13 by 19 inch sheets versus the 11 by 17 inch sheets on the F570. But it can do paper rolls up to 24 inches wide. So there's that, right? So technically it can print more, but you have to use a paper roll. If your Epson EcoTank 15,000 failed, you could buy 3 more for the price of one F570, right? That's something to keep in mind, right? So that's a big difference. So if the reason that you want an Epson sublimation printer is for the warranty and support, that's the support you're only going to get with the 570. But does the warranty matter if you could just buy the EcoTank and then replace it if it failed? I guess it depends on how many times it fails, right? It depends on the length of your warranty. So these are pros and cons you have to decide on. Also, it should be noted that this is like the Epson 15,000 is not made for sublimation. It's probably never going to be as good as this printer is, which is made for sublimation. And you can use the fancy Epson software with it if that's important to you. So, there's a lot of pros and cons here to these two. And I'm not going to tell you one is better than the other. Only you can decide that, right? Everyone has different needs, different budget, different interests, and needs different levels of support, right? You will not get a warranty and you won't have any support from Epson if all you do is take an EcoTank and put the sublimation ink into it. So I think the big question is the Epson 570 worth it? So if you're serious about sublimation printing, and this is the key, you want professional quality results with the flexibility to print large designs, right? up to 24 inches wide, and it's on a roll. So I think that you can, like, it could be 24 inches wide, but it can be even longer, I believe. We couldn't test that because I don't have the roll, but I believe it can be. Then I think this is an excellent investment, right? But I feel strongly that this is a printer for someone who has a small business or is in an organization where it matters, right? I don't think that this is the printer for the casual crafter at all. I mean, not only is it really big, it's just really expensive, right? So this is a small business organization level printer. Of course, if you are just a crafter at home and you just want to have this because you think it's cool, have fun. Also, you know, it's all good. I'm not judging you at all, but I know that you're going to ask me who I think it's for and what I think it's worth. So those are my impressions of the Epson 570. And once I knew what I was doing, setup was not that difficult. Yes, charging the inks took longer than I thought it would, but in the end it was just 30 minutes, right? It wasn't an hour and 15 minutes. Yes, I struggled with feeding the paper in, and that was because I had chosen the wrong option in my print setup window. So once I conquered that, things were good. It printed beautifully the first time. That's awesome. It pressed beautifully. This looks great. The color looks great to me. It's possible it could be tweaked more, but I would be happy with this. I wouldn't personally tweak it anymore. Yeah. And you definitely want to find it on sale, right? They do have occasional sales. So this isn't like, I wouldn't say this is a impulse purchase at all. So watch for a sale. Be sure you register it too, right? This is an investment, so you need to protect it. And yeah, those are my big impressions. Now, as I mentioned at the start of this video, I'm going to give this one away. We're going to put all the caps back on the ink. We're going to put all the tape, all the things back in to protect it. I don't know if we're going to use the same box, or we might use that box and like give it some more, like, because that box had a little rip in. We're going to make sure it's really, really well packed. And we're going to plaster it with stickers that says this side up so it cannot be tipped, because with any tank printer, you don't want to tip it because it's possible for these tanks to kind of leak, right? So no, if you ship or move your printer, your tank printer, make sure it stays horizontal. Who could use this printer? Let me know in the chat if this is something that would make a difference for you. And like, tell me. I would love to know. Okay? Like, tell me how you think that this could make a difference for you. Do you have a small business? Are you part of an organization? Do you want to start a business? Tell me, because this matters. I mean, I'm still going to choose a random winner, but we are going to make sure that the winner is part of this community. I do that, just so that in full transparency. This printer will not go to someone who randomly signed up and just stumbled across us and is not part of our community. I always check to make sure that you're somewhere. There's some touch point that you're actually part of our community. So it's still randomized. It's just randomized within that subset. Okay. I'm just going to look at some of the answers because I want to know what you guys would use this for. Joe says, I could do more large things for my friends and family. Donnell says, I would love to start a business. Kathleen says, it would be amazing to do stuff that large for my small business. P. Mulligan says, no thanks, it's too much for my needs. Totally fine. Don't enter the giveaway if it's not right for you. Melly says, my family would not see me for a while. Emily says, I could definitely use it at school. I'm looking for... Debbie says she's impressed at... What does it say? Where is I missed it. This chat's going by really fast. Okay, Carol says, I missed it, sorry. I see a lot of people saying they'd like to start a business or it'd be good for their existing business, and I agree. I think it would be really great for that. Awesome. And that is what I want. This is always my dream, is that when we give something away like this, like if you ever win something, please let us know. Like I want to make a difference, right? So that's why I check to make sure that it's going to a member of our community and just a random person. It matters a lot to me. And this is the most expensive thing I've ever bought to give away. So I'm going to be watching this one more closely. So if you win, please, 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 please send photos and please let me know like what you're doing with it. It matters to me, and it will make my day to know that I made a difference in your life and maybe your family's life too. And remember, I am also giving away this one. So I'm giving away both of these, right? So there is a giveaway for both. So let me give you the giveaway for this one. So you can enter. I hadn't done that yet, sorry. So you can enter at jennifermaker.com/F570 giveaway. Someone just double check that it works. I saw some comment earlier about it not working or something. And so let's I'll just check it right now just to be sure. Just to be sure. I did check it, but you know, we're now almost an hour 4. So I'm getting tired and I just want to be sure that this is working because I did see someone. Yes, it's working. Okay, good. All right. So if you believe that this printer could help you, you could enter the giveaway for this one. The giveaway will stay open until January 31st, 2025. And we will choose a winner on February 1st, 2025. So you've got, it's today is December 15th. You've got, I'm leaving it open so that people who don't have a chance to watch the live video, because it's, you know, I want enough of our community to discover this and enter. Right? So that's why I'm keeping it open and it's not just like today, so that you're not surprised by that. And I'm also giving away the F170. So the link to enter that one is jennifermaker.com/F170 giveaway. So F170 giveaway, F570 giveaway. You would need to enter both to be considered for both. Does anyone have any questions for me? All right, let me just take a few questions. I'm going to put away, so make a note of the giveaway. I'm going to put that away because I will edit all of this out after February 1st, 2025, so no one is trying to enter the giveaway. All right, so I'm putting that away. Good luck, everybody. All right, does anyone have any questions about the F570 that I can help you out with? Let me know. Pam says you only need to enter once, correct? No extra entries. That's correct. It's just enter once. Just enter one for this giveaway. I switch it up, but for this giveaway, it's just very simple. Enter once. I saw a question here. What was it? Is there a large heat press for this large printer? They sell large heat presses. I don't have any of them. I mentioned earlier that my largest heat press is 15 by 15. But there are large presses, but I have no experience with them. So you could do some research and see, but there are some, yeah. You just may not, keep in mind, you may not actually need a large heat press. You may still use this for small things, but you might batch print them. And that, so you just cut them up and then you press them. Tammy says, so for larger products, you move it along the heat press. Yes. So I have tutorials on how you would do this, but if let's say you're using this Easy Press, okay? This is the 12 by 12. So not really giant, right? Not tiny, but not big. So I will demonstrate. This is turned off right now, so it's not a big deal that it's cooled down. So let's say this is our design and it covers the whole thing. So what you would do is you would press here and then you would press here. You don't want to do this though. Don't do this because that will make it blurry and move your print. You just want to press in sections and you want to minimize the overlap. Just enough overlap so that you are getting the full thing, right? And that's how you do a big job. And hey Greg, can you hand me the doormat? over there. Let me show you an example. So I don't have a large, I mean, I do have a large sublimation printer. I don't use it. I like to use a small one. I like compact things. It's big. So all of our tutorials, all of our big stuff is actually made by tiling the images, taping them together, thank you, and then pressing them in sections. So this, even though this is a big project, this is just made on a regular size sublimation printer with a regular size heat press, right? So I don't need that one, thank you though. So let me show you. So we just printed it out in sections. This might have been like 6 sections. Taped them all together and then just pressed like this. Pressed here, pressed here, pressed here, right? Looks pretty good, wouldn't you say? I know it's upside down, but here. Right? So we just pressed it in sections. So you could have the large format printer because it will definitely save you time. Having to cut and tape together the pages is slow and it is a drag. There's no doubt about it. However, I just, I prefer to have a smaller printer. It's just my personal preference. So I still do that. So you could have the wide format printer and then you could still have a smaller heat press. And like this turned out great. This looks really good, don't you think? This is just from Home Depot. Yeah, this is from Home Depot. It's not even a sublimation doormat, but it's made of polyester. So we were able to sublimate on it. Let's see. Annie says you can't cut these prints on Cricut Design Space. You could print from Cricut Design Space to either of these printers if you wanted to. Just keep in mind that it will have the black registration mark around it and you'll have to cut it off. So you can do these on Cricut Design Space, but you don't need to if you aren't using Cricut Design Space for some other reason. Let's see here. Any other questions for me? I see lots of comments, so let's scroll to the bottom. Look for newer comments. Where did I get this? From Home Depot. Now, I did get it a couple years ago, but I think they're still selling them because I've been seeing people still make them. So this is just, I mean, I don't even know. I have a tutorial. Go look up the tutorial. It's like large format sublimation, or I don't know, search on Jennifer Maker sublimation doormat, and it'll tell you exactly where I got this. There's a whole tutorial on how to make doormats. I'm just looking for more questions. I want to make sure I answer anything really important. Kathy wants to, well, I'm not going to talk about the giveaways because let's have to edit that out. Bobby says, will the F170 Ultimate package still be available after the sale ends? It's not the discount, but the included extras that are most important to me. I believe so. So let's just go over to that page together. So that's the link that you see at the top here, jennifermaker.com/makerflow. I'm going to type that in and we're going to go over to it and I'll show you my screen. So keep in mind that the screen shows sale prices as of today, December 15th. So when you see this page, you will likely see different prices. So MakerFlow helpfully made me a page so that I can send you to the right places. Okay. So what we did yesterday was this F170. And I believe that this stays. The price may change because I think it's on sale today. But all the things that are in it, I'm pretty sure that we're going to continue on. I have been sending people to MakerFlow for a couple of years now. There's no reason why I would stop just because of I'm going to keep sending people there. They're a great company and they're doing a great job of fulfilling orders. Everyone seems happy. So I believe that you might not get the same price that you see here, but you should get the same stuff unless at some point in the future, it changes. But I don't think it's changing anytime soon. The same is true of these F570s. So this is the LE. So this one is the printer. It comes with the paper and it comes with the maintenance box. One is inside the printer and one is separate in a box. And then this one comes with extras. It's got the tumblers, an oven, the mini press, and so extra stuff to do. All 4 of these come with a copy of my cookbook. They wrote to me and said, hey, we really love your cookbook. Would you include it on the orders that people from your community buy? And I'm like, yes, I would love to do that. So it has the cookbook with it because the cookbook is super useful. Yeah, so I think the answer is yes to that question. I'm just looking for any more questions. Dee says they still have the doormats. She made one last year following the garden flag video, and it turned out great. Awesome. I'm happy to hear that. Someone asked if anything with 100% polyester can be sublimated on, and generally speaking, yes. So things that even don't say they're for polyester, for sublimation, like this, like Home Depot doesn't know we're doing this. They don't care about us. But we can totally sublimate onto this doormat because whatever this fabric they've got here, it's just polyester. So, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 100% polyester, but it should be at least 65% polyester. You can, do it on less, but it will look very faded and it will continue to fade over time. Tammy says, what do you recommend for a larger print for the home crafter? The Epson EcoTank 15,000, filled with Hippo sublimation ink. That's what I recommend. It doesn't cost anywhere near as much, and the ink is inexpensive, and it's pretty easy to set up and use, and thousands of people are using them. So that's what I would recommend. Just keep in mind, no warranty, no support, and perhaps the quality isn't as good, but for the home crafter, I think it's fine. I do. Lori says, is it the Sublimation cookbook or HTV? What did I do? I held up the wrong one. Sorry. It's this one. Not this one, sorry. Yeah, it's the Sublimation cookbook that is included, not the HTV cookbook. Same idea, but different stuff. Alrighty. Does the bar for the paper roll come with the printer? Yes, Vic. It was installed in the printer. Well, I know what you're asking now. You're asking about, hang on. Yes, there's a bar in here. Can you hear it? I'm tapping it. The bar is in here. So we would have to take it out. One of these ends probably comes off. Put our roll of paper onto it. Put the end back on. And then put it back in here. And it's adjustable, so it fits. There we go. So yes, it's in there. The roll for the paper is in there. That's a great question. Is this useful, everybody? I know we've been here for a while. Let me know in the chat if you find this useful. I always I start to feel weird around hour 2, and I'm like, this is taking so long. Do they really want to sit here with me and do this? So you can let me know if you like it. You can also tell me if you don't. And of course, hopefully you've probably already left by now. So I guess you wouldn't even be here to tell me. But if you do find it useful, let me know, because that helps me, because I'm definitely in the, oh my gosh, we have been here for over 4 hours now setting this up. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this must be so boring. All right, well, thank you all. I appreciate that. You are, of course, always welcome to give me honest feedback. Never Real and honest feedback is how we all improve. So it's all good. All right. I don't see, it's definitely time for me to wrap up. Okay. Tina says, how do I get your books? All of our books. Okay, so if you want, probably this is the one you'd be interested in. Just go to sublimationcookbook.com and you will see the page to get it. That's for the digital book. The print book is on Amazon. So all of our books are on Amazon. Just search for like Jennifer Maker. Probably they'll come right up. But the digital books are less expensive and you can keep downloading the updates for them for free. And there's a variety of pages for them. So sublimationcookbook.com. My Cricut book is at, oh, that one doesn't have a nice little URL. Whatever. You can just Google them. That's probably the easiest way. Oh, wait, you can go to my website at jennifermaker.com and click on books. And that will help you lead you to all the books. All right. Oh, there's a lot of people here still. You guys have all just been hanging out with me. Thank you. I will read through all of these comments later when I get home. Someone asked, how do you get updates for the books? You just download it again from the link that I sent you. So when you bought it, you got a link to download it. You can keep downloading it. So that's how you get that last one, the most recent one. Okay. What do you do with a roll of paper if it is regular paper and it is a sublimation printer? You would have to use that roll of paper in a non-sublimation printer. I mean, I guess you could try. Maybe you're okay. There's no reason not to try. You could put your roll on there. Remember, it's a 2-inch core, right? That matters. Your core size matters. You could try printing, but you're probably not going to get such vibrant prints without using sublimation paper. So you could just try it and see whether you like it or not. Some people are okay with their prints on regular paper. I'm not one of them. I like to use sublimation paper. Okay, I think I got it all. All right. Are you ready then for us to, we have our 2 gifts to give away. Wait, I should wrap up this video because remember I haven't finished that. As a reminder, what I'm going to do is edit out like whatever, some of the stuff, not all of it, most of it will stay here. I will edit out little bits just so it's a little bit easier to follow. And then this video about the Epson 570 will stay on YouTube for anyone to watch for basically any time. As a reference, right, to help you. Or if you get one and you want to set it up with me in real time, you can do that. Whatever works for you, right? So let me just do a little wrap up and then I will say goodbye, but I'm going to stay here because we have gifts to give away and a bonus code for Merry Maker Mingle. All right. Just making things look better. Here, let's put our ink here. Okay, we got our ink. What else? We need this. This is what we did, right? So I'll set that there. And set these here. There, that looks good. Okay. All right, so that was the Epson 570 unboxing, setup, and playtest, which I think actually went really pretty well, especially considering its huge size. If you have any questions at all about the F570 or the F170 or just sublimation in general, just leave your comment below this video and we'd be happy to help you out to the best of our ability, of course. And if you do get either of these printers, I would love to know about it. Send us a photo. Come join our sublimation group. It's at jennifermaker.com/sublimation group. It's a large group, very active, beginners, experts, everyone in between. It's an awesome place to learn more about sublimation crafting. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.